Chapter 1697. No matter who it was or how famous they were, Night Sorrow had no intention of talking to them. Ling Qianhui was already a dead man in his eyes. Hearing Ji Dao's refusal, Ling Daoxu was infuriated because he clearly saw that Night Sorrow was fine. He also saw Ling Qianhui's condition. His dantian was shattered, and his cultivation was destroyed. His legs were charred black, and there was a destructive aura lingering around them. There was also poison. It was an irreparable injury. However, even though he was angry, Ling Daoxu didn't have any thoughts of barging in because there were two monarchs' auras in the mansion. They were Wufeng and Songning. He wouldn't be able to do anything if he went in, and he couldn't bear the consequences. After thinking about it, Ling Daoxu knew that he couldn't do it with Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow said he didn't have time, which meant that he wouldn't give him any face. Ling Daoxu arrived at the city lord's mansion and handed over the visiting card. The one who received him was Elder Lan. Elder Lan reported to the Ethereal Battle Emperor, who gave him the same reply as Night Sorrow. She didn't even call herself Night Sorrow. She just said I don't have time. This was because Lin Xian'er knew Night Sorrow's reply to Ling Daoxu. After hearing the reply, Ling Daoxu didn't move for a long time. He wasn't an idiot and thought of something. The Ethereal Battle Emperor already knew about his request to see Night Sorrow, and she also knew about Night Sorrow's attitude and reply. Ling Daoxu left the city lord's mansion. After thinking for a while, he found a tea house and sat down. Although he had lost face, he couldn't give up on saving Ling Qianhui. Even if his cultivation was destroyed, he still had to save him. As long as his main body was alive, there was a chance of recovery. After thinking about it, Ling Daoxu felt that he still had to find Night Sorrow. From the Ethereal Battle Emperor's attitude, she respected Night Sorrow's opinion. After Ling Daoxu left, Night Sorrow went to Dragon Language's residence. At this moment, Dragon Language and Ghost Monkey were still attacking Ling Qianhui with all their might. Night Sorrow, you'll die a horrible death. Ling Qianhui looked at Night Sorrow and roared. You scolded our young master, I'll pull out your remaining teeth first. Hearing Ling Qianhui scold Yishang, Ghost Monkey was unhappy. He was now addressing Yishang as young master, just like Hong Yi and Lan Ning. Ghost Monkey, you can take your time to deal with this later. Ling Qianhui, karma doesn't feel good. Back then, Long, you said that it was related to me, but you didn't give me any face. Naturally, I won't give you any face. Back then, you said that Long you was a fish on the chopping block and you were the knife. Long, you said that you had to pay the price, but you didn't believe me. Was? I don't mind telling you something. Even half of Celestial Sect's territory is not as important as our life. Dragon Language, avoid unnecessary trouble and prevent the other party from having the illusion of getting him back. I don't want to see him for 3 days. Night Sorrow said to Dragon Language. Okay. Dragon Language nodded. She was excited, but her face was calm. She understood what Night Sorrow was giving up in order to kill Ling Qianhui. It was an expensive ransom. After staying in Night Moon Villa for the past few days, Dragon Language knew that anyone who wanted to negotiate with Night Sorrow would have to pay a huge price. However, for the sake of her, Dragon Language, Night Sorrow gave up on negotiations and gave up on asking for resources. You lowly spawn, to think that your sect master would come personally. You're quite valuable, but it's a pity that our young master wants to kill you. Miss Long, we're going to have to be ruthless. We don't have much time left. Okay. Dragon Language took the whip in Ghost Monkey's hand. It was a steel whip with barbs. Hearing that Night Sorrow wanted to kill him, Ling Qianhui was anxious. His clone in Celestial Sect's headquarters found Ling Daoxu's original body and told him about this. Ling Daoxu waved his hand and dismissed Ling Qianhui. He was full of anger now. Because Ethereal Battle Emperor didn't give him face, he could accept it because he wasn't on the same level as Ethereal Battle Emperor. But what about Night Sorrow? Ling Daoxu wasn't on the same level as Ethereal Battle Emperor. Night Sorrow wasn't on the same level as him either. However, Night Sorrow didn't give him any face and directly said that he didn't have time. After thinking for a while, Ling Daoxu felt that Night Sorrow was pressuring him through Ling Qianhui and wouldn't really want Ling Qianhui's life. After all, Ling Qianhui had offended Night Sorrow, a friend. It couldn't be compared to a huge amount of resources. After waiting for 2 days, Ling Daoxu once again came to Night Moon Villa to seek an audience. Someone wanted to visit Night Moon Villa. The first obstacle was Ji Dao. The pavilion at the Night Moon Villa's entrance was his. The small martial arts arena was also his. When someone came to visit, the servants would inform him first. In Night Moon Villa, there were no guards at the entrance, only servants. No time. Again, Night Sorrow didn't want to see Ling Daoshu, and Ling Daoshu didn't dare to fight his way in. Therefore, Night Sorrow was very confident. After receiving Night Sorrow's reply, Ling Daoshu's anger soared to the sky. However, he forcefully suppressed it. He already understood that Night Sorrow wasn't playing hard to get. Night Sorrow really wanted to kill Ling Qianhui. Lord Night, there's nothing that can't be resolved. We have to sit down and talk. Ling Daoshu directly used his true qi to transmit a message. After Night Sorrow heard Ling Daoshu's transmission, he stopped practicing his spear. He tossed the air splitter spear behind his back and arrived at Dragon Language's residence. Young master. Ghost Monkey looked at Night Sorrow. Dragon Language, come with me. Night Sorrow called out to Dragon Language. He carried the already deformed Ling Qianhui and walked towards the entrance of Night Moon Villa. Sister Xianair, what is this guy doing? Is he going to hand him over? Song Ning, who was drinking tea with Lin Xianair, saw Night Sorrow's actions and asked in astonishment. Impossible. The most likely thing is that he wants to kill Ling Qianhui in front of Ling Daoshu. Let's go take a look. Ling Daoshu shouldn't act out of desperation. Lin Xianair stood up and walked towards the entrance of Night Moon Villa. She knew that this matter would come to an end after Ling Daoshu's 2 requests for an audience. Night Sorrow carried the dead Ling Qianhui back to the entrance of Night Moon Villa. Emperor Daoshu, right? Do you know what he did? You want to hand him over? Night Sorrow looked at Ling Daoshu and threw out a sentence when they arrived at the entrance of Night Moon Villa. No matter what, he's from the Celestial Sect. We have to talk. Ling Daoshu opened his mouth and said, if he's from the Celestial Sect, then he wants to refine pills alive. Is the Celestial Sect behind this matter? You just have to tell me, do you admit to this matter? Night Sorrow's eyes were filled with a sharp gaze. Carrot update L plus new T most fastest V on, it's hard to say what's going on. I'll go back and deal with it. Ling Daoshu didn't dare to risk universal condemnation and admit to refining pills alive because it was too serious. Chapter 1698. Night Sorrow, don't you dare. Ling Daoshu was enraged. His aura rippled in all directions. Night Sorrow. Dragon Language looked at Night Sorrow. She knew that the matter had reached a critical juncture. If Ling Qianhui was killed, Star Moon Lake and Celestial Sect would become enemies. Don't be so wishy-washy. Night Sorrow pulled out the Space Splitter Spear with his right hand and swung it. The Space Splitter Spear pierced through the air, closing the distance of 20 feet in an instant. The Space Splitter Spear pierced through the center of Ling Qianhui's brows, nailing his body to a huge boulder at the entrance of the Yewei Mountain Villa. Do you think I dare or not? Night Sorrow looked at Ling Daoshu. Not only did he use his words, but he also used his actions to prove whether he dared or not. You deserve to die. Ling Daoshu pointed at Night Sorrow. Due to his extreme anger, his finger was trembling. Saying that I deserve to die? Are you declaring war on me, Night Sorrow? Very well, since you dared to touch my people, Night Sorrow, then I'll see how much stronger your Celestial Sect is compared to Eastern Hao Mountain. Night Sorrow extended his right hand and took the Space Splitter Spear that nailed Ling Qianhui. Ling Daoshu, you're declaring war on the Lord of my Misty Dynasty, right? Song Ning narrowed his eyes and looked at Ling Daoshu. I have no intention of declaring war. Manor Lord Song, you've misunderstood. Night Sorrow, this is a personal grudge between us. If you're a man, then don't involve others. Ling Daoshu looked at Night Sorrow. He really didn't dare to declare war. And here I thought you were confident enough to do so. If you want to declare war, then you'll have to swallow your words. There's no future for you. How do you want to play? I'll accept it. Night Sorrow turned and walked back into the mansion. He didn't say anything else to Ling Daoshu. Lin Xianair and Song Ning followed behind Night Sorrow. Dragon Language noticed that Ling Qianhui's pierced head was glowing. She grabbed Ling Qianhui's soul defense treasure with her right hand and put it away. We don't want the corpse. With that, Dragon Language also returned to the Night Moon Villa. Ling Daoshu retrieved Ling Qian's corpse and left. He felt extremely stifled in his heart. Watching his junior being killed with his own eyes without being able to do anything was quite a blow to him. Night Sorrow returned to his residence and brewed a pot of tea. It was as if he wasn't the one who had just killed someone in front of Ling Daoshu. Night Sorrow, did I cause you trouble? Dragon Language looked at Night Sorrow and asked in a low voice. No. Night Sorrow shook his head. But the Sky Peak sect already bears a grudge against you. The Dragon Language was filled with guilt again. Then let me say something. The reason I, Night Sorrow, came to the celestial realm was to first break the shackles of the primal chaos realm, being unable to produce an emperor. Second, after becoming an emperor, to solve the problem of the evil dragon poison flame in my Aunt Faye's body. Third, to see how powerful the Sky Peak sect is. Night Sorrow took a sip of tea and said, Night Sorrow, do you have a grudge with the Sky Peak sect? Lin Xianair asked. Yes, the Sky Peak sect almost destroyed one of our worlds. Later, the main culprit ran away and ran to the celestial realm. They received orders from the celestial realm's Sky Peak sect. Night Sorrow said. So that's how it is. What are they trying to do by plundering the origin energy of a world with billions of lives? Lin Xianair frowned. She didn't know much about this matter. However, through Night Sorrow's words, she understood why Night Sorrow wanted to kill. Grudge, because the grudge was deep. Making someone lose their place of survival was like cutting off their path to survival. This was an irreconcilable enmity. With this kind of enmity, no one would be merciful. No wonder your killing intent was so heavy today. However, it's nothing much. He didn't even dare to declare war, Song Ning said with a smile. In fact, Lin Xianair wasn't the only one who was puzzled. She also didn't understand. Normally, Night Sorrow wouldn't be so radical and kill someone in front of Ling Daoxiu. Dragon language, don't go out without you for the next few days. Just stay here. If they can't figure it out, they might take it out on you. Night Sorrow reminded Dragon language. I'll follow you from now on. I won't run away. Dragon language said. All right. You can rest assured and stay here. You came with me, so we'll stay together. Night Sorrow nodded at Dragon language. Night Sorrow knew very well that the Sky Peak sect wouldn't let this matter go. It could be said that they had become mortal enemies. However, he didn't care. Why original unspecified currency version? Why first? Carrot, ha. Night Sorrow, do you know that if you're willing to make a deal, the Sky Peak sect will bleed a lot this time? For a 2-star emperor, they can give you dozens of cities and tens of millions of Saint Spirit stones. Song Ning said. Sometimes, resources aren't as important as venting. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Dragon language, who was listening on the side, was shocked. At this moment, she understood what Night Sorrow had given up for her. After the incident, everything quieted down. However, the news still spread. Even if Night Sorrow didn't say it, many people in Qianhui City knew about it. Such a big matter couldn't be hidden from them. Night Sorrow's name once again entered everyone's ears. A 1-star emperor had captured a 2-star emperor and killed him in front of the Sky Peak sect master. This was something that others couldn't do and didn't dare to do. While they admired him, they were also worried that Night Sorrow would cause big trouble. The Misty Dynasty protected the Moon and Star Lake, but a force like the Sky Peak sect had many ways to deal with Night Sorrow. Song Ning and Lin Xianair were drinking tea alone in the attic of the Night Moon Villa. Sister Xianair, don't mind him. Night Sorrow's temper is like this. He won't compromise with the Sky Peak sect. Song Ning said. What's there to mind? This is a good thing. So what if he offended the Sky Peak sect? Even if we didn't have a personal relationship, from his point of view, half of the Donghao Mountain in exchange for protection should be worth something, right? Lin Xianair said with a smile. It's good that you don't mind. Song Ning said. You think too much. Night Sorrow isn't just your friend, he's also my friend. You don't have to take responsibility for anything. Lin Xianair looked at Song Ning and said. However, an even more shocking news spread. Night Sorrow of the Misty Dynasty had taken in a pure-blooded black dragon. Lin Xianair found Night Sorrow and said, I've been worried about this problem. The problem still came. This news isn't good. Sister Xianair, tell me. Night Sorrow didn't understand. It's fine if you take in other races of dragons, but not black dragons. Black dragons and the human race are sworn enemies. Black dragons once attacked our Tianhuang city. It's troublesome to have a member of the pure-blooded black dragon in our territory, even if it's not a threat. Lin Xianair said. Sister Xianair, dragon language came from the chaotic realm with me. There's no racial grudge. Night Sorrow said with a frown. Gossip is a fearful thing. You have to know that some things can't be done just because you say so. Even the War Emperor can't deal with this matter because the ones who ask about it might be the human race's sect elder. Lin Xianair said. Sister Xianair, what do we do now? Night Sorrow didn't know how to deal with it. Hide, but the human race's sect elder's methods are terrifying. It's not that easy to hide. Lin Xianair said. Chapter 1699. It's useless. You don't understand the methods of the elders of the human race. Besides, even if you hide the dragon language, you will still be in trouble. Do you think you can escape from being labeled a traitor of the human race? Lin Xian'er said. A traitor of the human race? I am the deluxe merit great sage and will soon become the deluxe merit heavenly monarch. Will they label me as a traitor of the human race? Night Sorrow stood up, a little agitated. I'm just guessing. The dragon language must be hidden in a place where others can't find it. Even if they find it, they can't go to it. Let nature take its course for the rest, Lin Xian'er said. I'll hide the dragon language first. We'll talk about the rest later. Night Sorrow nodded. He didn't expect the situation to be so serious. Make some backup plans. A man without foresight will have immediate troubles. Lin Xian'er said. As the Ethereal Battle Empress, Lin Xian'er did not only have influence in the Ethereal Empire, but this matter involved the human race, so the problem was not easy to deal with. The last time the Black Dragon race attacked the Heavenly Desolation City, it had caused a lot of damage to the human race, and some of the human race's elders had even fallen, so the problem involving the Black Dragon race was very serious. Night Sorrow found the dragon language and told her about the current problem. Night Sorrow, I've caused trouble for you this time. Dragon language said apologetically. Now that things have come to this, it's meaningless to think about how to avoid it. How about this? Go back to the primal chaos realm and cultivate. Don't come back without my notice. I'll go and send them off. Also, when you reach the Star Moon Lake, get the key people to teleport back. Then take out the teleportation crystal of the teleportation formation and bring it to me. Night Sorrow said to Datura. Night Sorrow, I won't be able to enter the Emperor realm if I return to the primal chaos realm. It wasn't easy for me to reach my current realm. I plan to travel around. I don't have a fixed place to stay, so it won't be easy for others to catch me. I have some secret talents. Dragon language thought for a moment and said. She was now a half-step emperor, which was her reward after entering the celestial realm. I can't decide where you go or your future, but you have to know that the divination skills of the celestial realm experts are powerful. You should be prepared for some things. Night Sorrows said. I understand. Dragons. Dragon language said. That's fine. This is an illusion array disk. You can stay in it for a long time. Just activate it once and it can isolate the outside environment. Even if the other party divines your whereabouts, they won't be able to determine your location. Here are 1,000,000 Saint Spirit Stones. Take it. This is all I can do for you. Night Sorrow took out a storage ring and handed it to Dragon language. Night Sorrow, I will remember your kindness. If I can reach the Emperor realm, I will come back to find you and help you solve the problem of the dragon's blood. Dragon language didn't pretend to be pretentious. She took the storage ring and cupped her hands at Night Sorrow before leaving the Night Moon Villa. Then, do we still need to take out the teleportation crystal of the Star Moon Lake? Datura asked Night Sorrow. Dragon language hasn't returned to the primal chaos realm yet. We won't need it for now. Night Sorrow said. While Night Sorrow was thinking about this problem, Songning came to tell Night Sorrow that the Ethereal Battle Emperor would open up the evil Punisher land for them in 3 days. Night Sorrow was stunned. He didn't expect it to be so soon. The last time they said it would be 3 years later. Now it was brought forward by so much. However, this was a good thing. Night Sorrow immediately told Lin Xian'er to prepare. In fact, this was Lin Xian'er's decision. Ghost Wings was an opportunity for her. At the same time, she also wanted Night Sorrow to lie low for a while. The dragon language was a serious matter. It was so serious that she couldn't take it head on. Night Sorrow, this matter is serious. You should go in with your original body. Even if something happens, you can lie low for a while. Lin Xian'er looked at Night Sorrow and said, My original body's nihility domain is progressing very quickly. Now that I've lost contact with my doppelganger, I should be in a state of enlightenment. My doppelganger can also confirm the location of the evil Punisher land. Night Sorrow said. Looking at Night Sorrow, Lin Xian'er didn't say anything else. This was Night Sorrow's decision. After 3 days of preparation, Night Sorrow was about to set off. Even the Ethereal Battle Emperor had arrived at the Night Moon Villa. Boss Tsang, if anyone finds trouble with me, tell them to wait. I'll be back in 3 months. Don't hurt the innocent. Night Sorrow said to Tsang Ning, who was still in the Night Moon Villa. Don't worry about that. Whether it's the Star Moon Lake or the Night Moon Villa, they are all under my protection. No matter who it is, they can't act recklessly. However, you have to be careful when it comes to the Black Dragons. Ethereal Battle Emperor said. Hearing Ethereal Battle Emperor's words, Night Sorrow was relieved. This was what he was most worried about. After that, Knight Sorrow, Datura, and Lin Xin'er were led to the Evil Punisher Gate by the Ethereal Battle Emperor. Following the activation of the sealing array, Knight Sorrow and the other two entered the Evil Punisher land. Knight Sorrow sensed the location of the Evil Punisher land source. After confirming the direction, he began to move forward. The Ethereal Battle Emperor returned to the City Lord's mansion and made some arrangements. She arranged for Knight Sorrow to enter the Evil Punisher land because it wasn't convenient for her to fall out with some people. She was also one of those people. She was almost certain that things wouldn't end so easily. The reason why Ling Daoshi released this news was because he also knew some things. He knew that releasing news related to the Black Dragons would bring trouble to Knight Sorrow. The Black Dragons had appeared in human territory, so they had to deal with it. Anyone related to the Black Dragons would be implicated. Lord Battle Emperor, is this matter very serious? Song Ning asked. It's very serious. The natural enemy of our human race is the Demon-Winged Clan. After the last battle between the human race and the Demon-Winged Clan, the Black Dragons took action and completely stood against the human race. This caused the Azure Dragons and the Black Dragons to draw a clear line between themselves. The Demon-Winged Clan is not only the enemy of us humans, but also the dragons and other races. It can be said that the Black Dragons are the enemy of our 100 Races Alliance. Knight Sorrow has a connection with the Black Dragons this time, so the Alliance will definitely investigate. It's just a matter of time. Lin Ethereal Battle Emperor said. Translator, Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios, maybe the news hasn't reached them yet. Song Ning said. You're thinking too simply. The Celestial Sect has someone in the 100 Races Alliance. He's the sworn brother of the Celestial Emperor, so the news will definitely reach them. The result is obvious. Capturing the dragon language is certain. As for how Knight Sorrow will be dealt with, I can't say. Lin Ethereal Battle Emperor said. Lord Battle Emperor, then Knight Sorrow should run. Luo Yuandao said. He was also anxious for Knight Sorrow. We'll see. After all, Knight Sorrow is the deluxe merit Grand Sage. No one can just make empty promises and pin a crime on him. Lin Ethereal Battle Emperor said. Chapter 1700. Lin Piaomiao had a few considerations for bringing forward the time of entering the Evil Punisher land. One was to let Knight Sorrow avoid the limelight for a while, the other was to let Knight Sorrow increase his power of virtue. Within the land of evil execution, Yi Shang's group of 3 flew quickly, arriving at the location of the teleportation array he had reserved. Yi Shang embedded another realm teleportation crystal into the teleportation array, then split the crystal into 2 parts and placed them into the teleportation array discs, handing one each to Mandela and Lin Xin'er. If there's time, I'll have to refine some more teleportation array discs. Then, the 3 of them flew towards the location that Knight Sorrow had sensed. Knight Sorrow, don't be in a hurry. If there are evil spirits, we still have to kill them. Accumulating resources and accumulating luck at the same time will only be beneficial to us. We have a lot of time, so there's no need to rush. Lin Xin'er said to Knight Sorrow. With Lin Xin'er's words, the 3 of them headed towards the source of the Evil Punisher land amidst the slaughter. As long as they saw evil spirits, they would kill them. At this moment, in a world filled with a violent aura, a modeled ancient city sat in the middle. Compared to other cities in the celestial realm, the ancient city was much smaller in scale. However, if one were to take a closer look, they would discover that it was different from other cities. This ancient city was situated on the sea, on a bridge that extended out of the sea. The city was surrounded by rusty iron chains that extended deep into the sea, securing the city. The black whirlwinds produced by the sea constantly attacked the city, but the tall and majestic city walls that were the same color as the iron chains kept these violent whirlwinds outside the city. The city was very quiet, without any noise that other cities would have. However, groups of soldiers walked back and forth, bringing a somber atmosphere to the city. The tallest buildings in the city were the 5 ancient pagodas. The one in the middle was slightly taller than the ones beside it. At this moment, on one of the levels of the ancient pagodas, there were a few old men sitting. Elder Gu, have you received the message? Members of the Black Dragons have appeared in your human territory. An old man wearing a robe filled with various kinds of herbs said. I've received the message. This matter needs to be investigated. The man called Elder Gu carried a long sword on his back, his face cold and valiant. It's already difficult for our 100 Races Alliance to fight against the demon-winged race. If there are internal problems, there will be endless troubles. The red-robed old man sitting in the middle said. Bring him back and erase all connections with him, a man in a white robe said. Bai Qiuan, how can you say this in front of Lin Piao? It's not to be too murderous. Gu Qi, we all know how much harm the Black Dragon clan brought to us last time. I didn't say what would happen to the Ethereal Dynasty. I only said that everything related to the Black Dragon clan should be wiped out. Go. Elder Gu, go with Elder Bai. The human race must be stabilized and unstable factors must be dealt with. I believe Commander Lin will cooperate. The red-robed man sitting in the main seat made his decision. Night Sorrow, Lin Xin'er and Datura were hunting evil spirits, but their progress was not slow. Lin Xin'er did not do much as she did not need his help. Night Sorrow's combat strength was vastly different from the last time he came. He could be said to be advancing unstoppably and nothing could stop him. How many Emperor Realm evil spirits were there in the evil Punisher land? Not many. Even if they developed well, there were not many Heaven Monarch Realm evil spirits, let alone Emperor Realm evil spirits. How could they stop Night Sorrow? The world origin is moving but it's not fast. After another battle, Night Sorrow spoke of his feelings. Is it moving naturally or is there something that can sense us and evade us? Lin Xin'er asked. It's not moving fast and it's not moving in the opposite direction. It's moving naturally and I can feel that it's different from the last time. Night Sorrow said. Could it be that when Guizu's soul was here last time, his magic treasure Ghost Wings was together with the world's origin, and Guizu controlled the Ghost Wings to move with the world's origin? Mandela voiced her thoughts. It's completely possible. The world origin is moving very fast this time, but it's not that ridiculous. Night Sorrow nodded. Yi Shan and the others continued forward. They killed as many evil spirits as they could. As for evil spirits with bodies, Yi Shan needed to use his spear to kill them. As for evil spirits without bodies, they couldn't withstand the vibrations of Yi Shan's spacetime domain. A single vibration was enough to shatter and annihilate these evil spirits. Your domain is really domineering. If your other attributes enter the Emperor Realm and your domain fuses, then your domain will be domineering. Your domain is now a level 2 domain. Lin Xin'er said. What does a level 2 domain mean? Night Sorrow asked, puzzled. It's very simple. A domain of a single attribute is a level 1 domain, and a domain of 2 attributes is a level 2 domain. Lin Xin'er explained the differences between domains to Night Sorrow. The higher the level of the domain, the more powerful it is? Night Sorrow looked at Lin Xin'er and asked. According to normal circumstances, this is the case. However, everyone's aptitude and talent are different, so the power of the domain is different. The Windfire domain is a level 2 domain, but it has no advantage against the time domain or space domain. If it's a sovereign attribute domain, then it's different. However, no matter what attribute the domain is, it's necessary for cultivators to raise the level of their domain. Cultivators in the Emperor Realm work hard to perfect their domain, but after entering the Emperor Realm, it's impossible to raise the level of one's cultivation for countless years. Thank you, Sister Xin'er, for clearing my doubts. Night Sorrow seemed to understand a little. There are some things that I won't avoid. Because you came from a domain, your starting point is a little low. There are some things and some cultivation paths that you have to explore on your own. This may be the biggest reason for slowing down your cultivation speed. Take it slow. The top cultivators in the Celestial Realm also explored step by step. Lin Xin'er said. I know people walk on their own paths. The first person to walk on his or her own path. Night Sorrow said. Yes, it's good that you have such a way of thinking. You may face many difficulties in the early stages, but after you walk out of it, it's fundamentally different from cultivating step by step. Lin Xin'er admired Night Sorrow's mentality. Sister Xin'er, can you tell us more about Tianhuang City? Datura asked. Yes, I can. Some people in the Celestial Realm know about it. You know about the Celestial and Demon rankings. The top few on the Celestial and Demon rankings are all members of Tianhuang City. So is the War Emperor Lin Piamiao. Lin Xin'er said. Then she should be a core figure of Tianhuang City, right? Night Sorrow asked. _z_ most I square root new asterisk I chapter. Chapter 1701. Does that mean that the core of the Tianhuang City could be a member of the previous Celestial Demon list? Night Sorrow asked in surprise. It should be a member of the previous Celestial Demon list. Lin Xin'er nodded. Rank 8 Immortal, are there many experts in the Tianhuang City? Datura's eyes were full of shock. No, why is there such a thing as reincarnation, epic and small epic? Because at this time, there will be a heavenly tribulation. Every 10 billion years is the Emperor Tribulation, and every 100 billion years is the Emperor Tribulation. A reincarnation tribulation is called the God Annihilation Tribulation. There are many experts on the celestial demon list, and they are the overlords in the world of cultivators, but they are powerless in the face of the heavenly tribulation. There is an emperor tomb in the Tianhuang city, and all the people buried there are supreme giants. No matter how powerful you are, when the tribulation comes, you will be insignificant. The emperor tomb appears and the emperor tomb falls. This is a popular saying among high-level cultivators. Lin Xian'er sighed. Seeing that Night Sorrow and Datura were puzzled, Lin Xian'er explained in detail. Lightning tribulation, wind tribulation, and fire tribulation were all manifestations of the heavenly tribulation, but when it came to the epic tribulation, the tribulation was an energy body with heaven-defying combat power. This energy body appeared to kill supreme giants, so it was called the immortal tomb by the cultivators of the celestial realm. Can't get through it? Night Sorrow looked at Lin Xian'er. There are those who can. Didn't the experts from the previous celestial demon list survive it? But that is a small tribulation, and every 10 billion years is a tribulation. After one tribulation there will be two more, each more overbearing than the last. Finally, there will be the 9 heavenly tribulations, and then the Emperor Tribulation of 100 billion years. Why is it said that cultivators are fighting against the heavens? It is because of the existence of this tribulation. Lin Xian'er said with a smile. Isn't this fatal? Datura sighed. What you said is too accurate. It's a matter of life and death. Misty Battle Emperor is still young. Regardless of his strength, he is still part of the younger generation in Tianhuang City. The only ones who can make decisions in Tianhuang City are the patriarchs of the human race and the leaders of the other races, Lin Xian'er said. In fact, there were not many people who knew Tianhuang City better than she did. Elder Sister Xian'er, you know so much? Night Sorrow looked at Lin Xian'er. He felt that this was not something a rogue cultivator like Lin Xian'er should know. Night Sorrow, everyone has their own privacy. Sister Xian'er may have concealed her origins from you, so please don't mind her, Lin Xian'er said as she looked at Night Sorrow. I don't mind. What's there to mind? But I'm now thinking that Elder Sister Xian'er's background must be astonishing. Let's set off. Night Sorrow did not continue speaking, because Lin Xian'er's words had already made it clear. It's good that you don't mind. No matter what happens in the future, we will always be friends. Lin Xian'er smiled. She was very happy that Night Sorrow didn't mind. That's right. Elder Sister Xian'er has a great background. I have a big thigh to rely on, Night Sorrow said. Shameless, thick-skinned. Datura scolded with a smile. As they advanced and fought, Night Sorrow's cultivation gradually stabilized. Moreover, during the battle he studied the direction to improve his combat strength. Night Sorrow integrated his power of virtue into the spacetime domain. The originally somewhat hazy spacetime domain was filled with a vast golden light, and it was filled with a soul-stirring righteous aura. This is your advantage. When your body of virtue enters the 9th stage Emperor realm, there will be a qualitative change in your domain. This is your advantage. Even emperors can't help but envy you, Lin Xian'er said. As they advanced and fought, Night Sorrow perfected the integration of his power of virtue in the spacetime domain. As they advanced, Night Sorrow collected more and more flames of life. Night Sorrow even killed a few 1-star and 2-star Emperor Realm evil spirits. Night Sorrow wanted to collect more, but there weren't many high-level evil spirits in the evil Punisher land. A% original version, care of, as time passed, Night Sorrow and the other two got closer and closer to the evil Punisher land's origin. Although it was still in operation, Night Sorrow had a premonition. Elder Sister Xian'er, the origin of the world is intelligent. If we continue to advance, it might be alerted. If it is alerted, it will run away directly. We might not be able to catch up to it, Night Sorrow said. My speed is still not bad. It's just that I can't sense where it is. Without a target, I can't chase after it. No matter what, we have to reach the range where it can be detected. Once we reach the range where it can be detected, leave it to me, Lin Xian'er said. This was where Lin Xian'er couldn't compare to Night Sorrow. She was an Emperor Realm Emperor, but she was helpless against the origin of the world and couldn't get close to it. Elder Sister Xian'er, how about we approach it from the void turbulence? Once we're close, we'll go out. We can only say that we'll try our best. It's hard to say if there will be any results, Night Sorrow said. Once we're close, we'll depend on Elder Sister Xian'er. If we can't do it, then we won't be alive. I won't force it, Lin Xian'er said with a smile. After cultivating for so many years, she was naturally open-minded about some things. After advancing for another distance, Night Sorrow turned around and looked at Lin Xianair and Datura. It's about 1,000,000 miles away. We can't advance rashly. If we're not careful, it's easy to waste all our previous efforts. Aluo, enter my spatial treasure. Night Sorrow nodded at Datura. He didn't say that to Lin Xianair because entering the spatial treasure meant that their lives depended on each other. It wasn't appropriate to speak rashly. After putting Datura into the 8-dragon cauldron, Night Sorrow waved his space-splitting spear and blasted it at the spatial barrier. This spear was the Void Return to Origin strike. The energy gathered into a point and blasted through the spatial barrier. Night Sorrow's spear technique changed again, becoming the Void Extreme Strike. The energy exploded at the point and then the time vibration wave. It should be the space-time vibration wave because the energy of time and space had already merged. Using all his strength, Night Sorrow blasted a hole the size of a human head in the spatial barrier. Night Sorrow entered in a flash. This time he didn't even need to enter the 8-dragon cauldron. The energy in his body changed and his body shrank a lot. After Night Sorrow entered, Lin Xianair also entered. Her body was covered in a purple halo. Void attribute. Turning around to look at Lin Xianair, Night Sorrow was stunned. Lin Xianair was the same as him, she also had the Sovereign Void attribute. Yes, but it's not complete enough. It's not pure enough. It still lacks some maturity. You lead the way and I'll lead you forward. Lin Xianair waved her white sleeves lightly and wrapped Night Sorrow up. There was no need for Night Sorrow to consume energy to protect himself. Too powerful. This was what Night Sorrow felt at this moment. When he released his spacetime domain, it was attacked by the spatial turbulence. It was still constantly shaking as if it would be destroyed at any time. However, Lin Xianair's void domain was incomparably stable. The domain had already become a solid cover, and ripples spread out in all directions, attacking the spatial turbulence. After Night Sorrow pointed out the direction, Lin Xianair began to fly. Chapter 1702. Lin Xianair's speed was fast. Even in the turbulent space, she didn't seem to be affected. It only took her 2 hours to cover a distance of 1,000,000 miles, and this was under the condition that the world source was still moving. Night Sorrow constantly pointed the way because the world source was still moving. Guai is really with the world source. The array disk in Lin Xianair's hand lit up. It was an array disk specially used to detect the existence of Guai. The world source is not easy to control. Sister Xianair needs a plan. Night Sorrow reminded her. If it was a normal world source, it would indeed be difficult to control. However, the world source of evil punishing land has been controlled by Guai for a period of time. It is no longer a traditional world source, so its power should have decreased. Perhaps there is a chance. Lin Xianair nodded to Night Sorrow. She already had a plan in her heart. It's not far ahead. Sister Xianair, it's going to run. Hurry. At this time, Night Sorrow discovered that the world source was accelerating. Lin Xianair's right hand formed a blade and slashed at the spatial barrier. She cut open the spatial barrier and rushed out in a flash. She naturally couldn't let the world source and Guai escape. Lin Xianair chased after them. Night Sorrow rushed out of the turbulent space and didn't move. He only released Datura. It was useless for him to move. The world source and Lin Xianair were too fast. His soul power couldn't lock onto them. Sister Xianair chased after them? Datura looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Yes, there is nothing we can do at this time. Night Sorrow nodded. He really couldn't help Lin Xianair. If he couldn't keep up with her speed, he couldn't do anything. At this time, Lin Xianair was already close to the source of the evil punishing land. She could also clearly see the form of the source of the evil punishing land. It was a pair of blue wings, and in the middle of the wings there was a black light. Forever Caritas novel C. Want to run? Don't even think about running today. Lin Xianair accelerated again, displaying the full speed of the Emperor rank. Lin Xianair knew that this was a great opportunity for her. It was the luck that Night Sorrow had brought to her, the luck of someone close to the body of merit. Lin Xianair, who had used all her speed, drew closer to the world's origin. At this time the world's origin flapped its wings, drew an arc in the air and ran back the way it had come. However, the distance between the two of them was getting closer and closer. This was the power of Lin Xianair's Emperor, the evil Punisher source. It wasn't as fast as her, and the distance between them was getting closer and closer. Lin Xianair was confident that she could catch up to the source of the evil punishing grounds and control it. She felt that Guei and the source of the evil punishing grounds would not be able to escape, so the threat of the evil punishing grounds to the celestial realm could be resolved. The source of the evil punishing grounds ran in circles, and once again appeared in the range of Night Sorrow's spiritual strength. What's going on? Why did it run back? Its speed is really fast. Night Sorrow really didn't understand. When it was still 100 li away from Night Sorrow and Datura, Lin Shenner's domain burst forth, suppressing the source of the evil punishing grounds that carried Guei. Her right hand reached out, and energy wrapped around the source of the evil punishing grounds and Guei. However, it wasn't completely suppressed. The source of the evil punishing grounds flapped its wings and continued to fly. "Wanna run? Stop for me?" Lin Shenner roared, and the energy in her body burst forth, completely suppressing the source of the evil punishing grounds that Guei carried. At this time, the source of the evil punishing grounds that carried Guei was completely suppressed by Lin Shenner. However, an accident still happened. The pair of blue wings shook violently, and the world's origin bead embedded on them broke free from Lin Shenner's control and continued to fly away. Lin Shenner's right hand grabbed the still flapping blue wings, and then her body flickered as she continued to chase. If she could destroy the source of the evil punishing grounds, then the evil punishing grounds would become empty and barren, and the birth of evil spirits would be very difficult. The distance between Lin Shenner and the world's origin closed once again. "Night Sorrow, get out of the way!" Lin Shenner shouted at Night Sorrow, because Night Sorrow and Datura were on the escape route of the evil punishing grounds. Night Sorrow pulled Datura away from the flight path of the evil punishing grounds, and dodged to the side. However, the direction of the evil punishing grounds escape had also changed, and it rushed towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow pulled Datura away, and the evil punishing grounds origin chased after them, while Lin Shenner chased after the world's origin. The three of them chased after each other and the speed was obvious. Night Sorrow was the slowest, followed by the evil punishing grounds origin, and the fastest was Lin Shenner. The distance between the three of them was quickly closing. Suppress. Lin Shenner flipped her right hand, and a large energy hand covered the evil punishing grounds origin. A black light flashed on the evil punishing grounds origin, and then it accelerated, dodging Lin Shenner's energy hand and rushed towards Night Sorrow. Block. Unable to dodge, Night Sorrow waved his arm, and the 8-dragon cauldron appeared, blocking the path of the world's origin. With the sound of metal clashing, the origin of evil punishers punched a hole in the 8-dragon cauldron. The origin of evil punishers, which had pierced through the 8-dragon cauldron, charged at Yi Shan. Mysterious yellow armor. Night Sorrow roared again. However, the evil punishing grounds origin was too fast, and before Night Sorrow's mysterious yellow armor could complete its defense, it directly shot into Night Sorrow's chest, sending Night Sorrow's body flying. Boundless energy rushed towards Night Sorrow's body, and the evil punishing grounds origin bead also rushed towards Night Sorrow's spirit sea. At this time, the 9-region origin bead in Night Sorrow's spirit sea moved, and a similarly boundless world's origin blasted towards the evil punishing grounds origin. Following a loud explosion, Night Sorrow's mind went blank, and he didn't know what happened next. At this time, in the eyes of Lin Shenner and Datura, Night Sorrow's body was constantly exploding, and energy was constantly bursting out. Night Sorrow's head was bleeding from all 7 orifices, and holes were constantly appearing on his body, shooting out energy from the holes. When Lin Shenner and Datura arrived, Night Sorrow had already fallen to the ground and was no longer moving. Blood flowed from his mouth and his body was riddled with holes. Night Sorrow. Datura reached out to help Night Sorrow up, but just as his hand touched Night Sorrow, he was directly sent flying by a wave of energy. Lin Shenner first helped Datura up. "Don't touch him first, his body has become a battlefield between the origin beads of the 2 worlds. Now that the battle is over, the energy is still in his body and this is a big problem." Lin Shenner understood what was going on. From the moment the evil punishing grounds origin entered Night Sorrow's body, she had been observing the flow of energy in Night Sorrow's body. The evil punishing grounds origin wanted to break through Night Sorrow's spirit sea, because Night Sorrow's spirit sea had the light of virtue, which was its natural enemy, and it contained the power of ghosts. Chapter 1703. Night Sorrow had lost consciousness, but the consciousness of the 9 regions origin bead was still present. It tried its best to protect Night Sorrow's body. The light of virtue in Night Sorrow's spirit sea also moved, enveloping Night Sorrow's body and constantly purifying the ghostly power contained in the evil punishing land. Big Sister Shin, how is Night Sorrow now? Datura was more anxious. At this moment Night Sorrow was too miserable. His body was full of holes and blood flowed freely. He was hit by the energy impact and was knocked unconscious. His body has suffered a certain degree of damage, but it doesn't matter. His source was not damaged. This time he will benefit from this disaster, Lin Xian'er said. The light of virtue purified the evil energy in Night Sorrow's body. After the purified energy was absorbed by Night Sorrow's body, the light of virtue also absorbed. It's good that he's not in danger. I wonder when he will wake up. Datura felt a little more at ease after hearing that Night Sorrow was not in danger. It's hard to say. The current situation for him is that he has been destroyed and rebuilt. His body has been shaken beyond recognition, but it is also an opportunity for him to absorb energy to strengthen himself and reconstruct himself. This is also thanks to his tyrannical body. If it were anyone else, let alone an emperor, even an imperial emperor's body would have been destroyed and exploded, Lin Xian'er said after arriving in front of Night Sorrow and sensing the situation in Night Sorrow's body again. It's good that he's fine. You scared me to death, Datura said with lingering fear. We have the ghost wings. If Night Sorrow suffers any irrecoverable injuries because of this, I will not be able to live with myself, Lin Xian'er said as she looked at the pair of light blue wings in her hand. At this moment the pair of wings was still struggling. Guizhou, you left behind a lot of trump cards. Unfortunately your time has passed. Accept your fate. Lin Xian'er said as she looked at the blue wings. Hearing Lin Xian'er's words, the pair of blue wings, which was the ghost wings, struggled even more violently. For Aluo, help me and Night Sorrow keep watch. Night Sorrow's condition cannot be disturbed, I have to solve this problem. Lin Xian'er pointed to the blue wings in her hand. Datura nodded her head. She knew that Night Sorrow was at a critical juncture and Lin Xian'er had to deal with Guiyi. Night Sorrow woke up. He did not know how much time had passed. He wanted to move his body but he could not. His whole body was in unbearable pain. Don't move. Try to circulate your body tempering technique and absorb the energy scattered in your body into your flesh and bones. The 9 regions origin bead's voice rang out. Night Sorrow could not even nod his head. He could only use the myriad Tao Tomes cultivation technique to cultivate the virtuous immortal body. It hurts. As he circulated his cultivation technique, Night Sorrow endured a heart-wrenching pain. He also discovered his situation. His bones were all shattered and his tendons and veins were all broken. His body was now like a tattered piece of linen. It was a tragic sight, so it was especially painful to circulate his energy. There was nothing he could do about the pain. Night Sorrow had to persevere. Otherwise he would not be able to recover and would continue to lie on the ground like mud. Because of the bone-piercing pain, Night Sorrow, who had not sweated for many years, had sweat flowing down his cheeks and his body was constantly trembling. Datura naturally knew about Night Sorrow's situation. She was extremely anxious and did not know what was going on. She could only watch as Night Sorrow endured the pain. Time passed in torment. Lin Xian'er had already entered the time acceleration treasure to refine the ghost wings while Night Sorrow recovered. In the blink of an eye, a month passed and Lin Xian'er came out. She had refined the ghost wings for more than 3 years in the time acceleration treasure before completely erasing the aura that Guizhou had left on the ghost wings. This was different from recognizing a master. The ghost wings was a treasure that Guizhou had used his soul power to nourish for countless years. It was very difficult to completely erase it. Otherwise, Lin Xian'er would not have refined it for more than 3 years with her emperor rank cultivation. After lying in bed for a month, Night Sorrow's aura had stabilized a lot. However, he was still in seclusion and had already passed the painful stage. His body was covered in golden light. He had already completed the destruction and reconstruction. The bones in his body were already infinitely close to the lustrous golden bones. Night Sorrow already knew about his situation. However, he was somewhat regretful. Because no matter how strong his clone was, his main body could not cultivate. His cultivation realm could not keep up and he could not complete the breakthrough. However, the 9 regions origin bead told Night Sorrow a piece of news that made him feel at ease. At that time, in order to ensure that Night Sorrow's body was not broken, the 9 regions origin bead had gathered and sealed 2/3 of the energy of the evil punishing land to the greatest extent. In other words, when Night Sorrow's main body needed it, the 9 regions origin bead could give this energy to Night Sorrow to use. Night Sorrow's heart trembled. If his main body wanted to reach the strength of his clone, he would need to be destroyed and reconstructed. The pain of broken bones and tendons was unavoidable. 1.5 months later, Night Sorrow woke up. His cultivation had been completed. The strength of his body had already reached the peak of the 8th rank. He could not break through because of the limitations of his main body. He opened his eyes and stood up. Night Sorrow stretched his waist. Immediately, crackling sounds came from his body. The energy in his body surged and light rippled in all directions. I've reached the critical point. If I take another step forward, my physical attacks will be able to carry the power of heaven and earth, Lin Xian'er said. Elder Sister Xian'er, I'm sorry. The evil punishing land's origin bead ran into my body and caused Elder Sister Xian'er to miss out on an opportunity. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Xian'er apologetically. What are you talking about? A pair of sky blue wings is already a heaven-defying opportunity. Sky blue wings are ghost wings, a name that Guizhou forcefully changed. Lin Xian'er's body trembled and a pair of energy wings appeared on her back. That's good. Our mission this time has been completed. The 300 fires of life that we need to hand over to the Ethereal War Emperor has also been settled. After hunting for a while we can return, Night Sorrow said. The message that the Ethereal War Emperor had asked Song Ning to pass on was to ask for 300 fires of life. There was no mention of grade, which meant that they just had to be mixed up like last time. In the future, the fires of life in this evil punishing land will get lesser and lesser. Night Sorrow, you can wait for a large amount of merit to be added to your body. This will completely solve a hidden danger. The thicker the merit, the stronger your foundation. Even if the heavenly desolate city receives news that is not beneficial to you, they won't make things too difficult for you, Lin Xian'er said with a smile. Lin Xian'er said with a smile. She knew that Yi Shang had reaped a great harvest this time. It was an unintentional harvest. Then let my body enter the Emperor realm. Night Sorrow communicated with the 9 domains origin bead and controlled it to leave his body. The 9 domains origin bead left Night Sorrow's body and drew an arc in the air, breaking through the spatial barrier and disappearing. Night Sorrow, what's going on with you? Lin Xian'er was a little confused. Datura was also a little confused. Chapter 1704. Night Sorrow, you're not bad. Your spacetime attribute can enter the Emperor realm, your body can enter the Emperor realm, and your chi has room to develop. No one can compare to you at this stage. Lin Xian'er's eyes were full of praise. After that, Night Sorrow and the other 2 continued to kill evil spirits in the evil Punisher land. 2 days later, Night Sorrow's main body received the 9-region origin pearl. The moment he received the 9-region origin pearl, golden lotuses appeared in the sky and the light of virtue descended. The heavenly Tao's rules covered all parts of the celestial realm. Perhaps there was a cycle, but the world's origin was always covered. Therefore, when the 9-region origin pearl reached Night Sorrow's main body, the light of virtue also arrived. It was stronger than the last time, much stronger. Golden lotuses filled the sky, and the sound of nature was constantly heard. Fortunately, Night Sorrow was the only one who comprehended the will of nothingness, so it didn't cause much of a commotion. Square root, K forever. For a long time free of charge. Night Sorrow's power of virtue continued to increase rapidly. He broke through the virtuous great sage and entered the virtuous heavenly monarch realm, and continued to climb. Night Sorrow understood why the reward this time was so great. It was because he had solved the root of the threat to the celestial realm from the evil Punisher land. He had solved the root of the problem. After entering the virtuous heavenly monarch realm, the light of virtue continued to descend. This didn't require Night Sorrow to cultivate. The heavenly Tao's reward was the same. Surpassing the virtuous heavenly monarch realm continued. Half Emperor. Half Emperor. When he reached the peak of the virtuous heavenly monarch realm, Night Sorrow felt that he could break through, but he couldn't. The light of virtue continued to descend. Night Sorrow understood that this matter could only reach this level. It wasn't that he didn't have enough merit, but that he didn't have enough merit for the celestial realm. He still needed to do something for the celestial realm. As long as he did it right, he could become the virtuous heavenly monarch. The leakless golden body circulated and locked the virtuous golden light. Night Sorrow entered the clear sky pagoda. He wanted to speed up his cultivation and rush his body into the 9th stage martial emperor realm. At that time his combat strength would increase slightly. Looking at himself, Night Sorrow sighed. Some pain still had to be endured. After Night Sorrow protected his divine sea in Dantian, he communicated with the 9 regions origin pearl and told it was done. At that moment, the 9 regions origin bead released the power it had sealed. It was even stronger than what Night Sorrow had endured in the evil Punisher space. That was because Night Sorrow's original body was slightly stronger than his avatar. Without enough power, it could not break Night Sorrow's tendons and bones. It could not completely break him. Night Sorrow's clone, who was meditating to sense his merit cultivation, suddenly lost his balance. Then a faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. That's really strong. What's wrong with you? Lin Xian'er and Datura each grabbed one of Night Sorrow's arms. My original body was cultivating and broke the tendons and bones in his body. The energy was too strong and rushed to the divine sea. I was also affected. Night Sorrow took a deep breath and recovered. His original body's soul had been affected, but the effect on his avatar was only temporary. What's the level of your virtuous body? Lin Xian'er asked. I'm at the peak of the virtuous half-martial emperor realm and have accumulated a lot of virtuous light. I only lack the opportunity to enter the virtuous monarch realm. Night Sorrow said. Then Night Sorrow's group of 3 continued forward. However, Night Sorrow's condition was not good. The pain his original body was enduring was also felt by his avatar. When his avatar was cultivating, Night Sorrow's original body was meditating, so the impact was not great. In addition, his original body was the main body, so the avatar's pain was not intense. Now that it was the other way around, Night Sorrow's avatar was experiencing intense sensory stimulation and could no longer fight. In this situation, the 3 of them could only rest. Night Sorrow quietly meditated, enduring the consequences of his original body's cultivation. The Emperor realm was very important, whether it was Qi or the body. Why didn't Night Sorrow leave Ling Qianhui's corpse? Because it was useless. The evil spirits in the dark abyss of the world of reincarnation couldn't harm him at all. Even if he used evil spirits to deal with opponents, they would only be below the 9th rank. Aluo, I'm sorry. You didn't get any opportunities in both times. Lin Xian'er looked at Datura and said apologetically. Sister Xian'er, don't say that. You've helped me a lot. My domain of death has already changed. It's a rare opportunity. Datura said with a smile. The destruction stone that Lin Xian'er gave her had greatly increased her strength. And it's good that it suits you. Lin Xian'er nodded. The 3 of them camped for a day. Night Sorrow's body changed, the destruction divine wind and soul extinguishing flame appeared again. Emperor realm tribulation. Night Sorrow's clone meditated for a day, but his original body cultivated in the clear sky god pagoda for 1.5 months. Looking at the situation of Night Sorrow's body, Lin Xian'er and Datura knew what was going on. Night Sorrow's cultivation had entered the Emperor realm, it was the strength of his body. After withstanding the wind and fire tribulation, Night Sorrow didn't feel any danger this time. It was also an opportunity because this was a chance for him to comprehend the will of destruction. Because they weren't worried, Datura and Lin Xian'er made tea and chatted. Night Sorrow enjoyed the feeling of enlightenment brought by the destruction divine wind because such an opportunity was hard to come by. The tribulation took 3 days to pass. Night Sorrow's virtuous immortal body had entered the Emperor realm and his will of destruction had reached 99%. This meant that he would reach the perfection stage if he improved further. This was a bottleneck that couldn't be comprehended by force. He needed an opportunity to break through. After the tribulation passed, Yi Shuang's avatar's body cultivation also reached stage 9 as his true body's realm increased. In such a short period of time your strength has soared again. This is simply too terrifying. Lin Xian'er said. In the celestial realm, the virtuous sage had appeared, but the virtuous sage hadn't. Now that Night Sorrow had broken through the virtuous heavenly monarch, he had directly become a virtuous half-emperor. This was an unprecedented trend. Cultivating his body to the Emperor realm was also an incredible achievement that ordinary people wouldn't dare to think about. Luck, but I stole Sister Xian'er's opportunity. Night Sorrow said. What's wrong with the 2 of you? Without your help, would I have gotten the opportunity to obtain the sky blue wings? I should be the one thanking you. But we're friends, so there's no point in saying this. Lin Xian'er said. The 3 of them continued to move forward and collect the fire of life. The 3 of them wouldn't come here again in the future. Even if they did, there wouldn't be many evil spirits to kill. While Night Sorrow's group was training, 3 elders came to Ethereal City. One of them had a long sword on his back and a cold aura on his face. He was the Heaven Desolation City's Gu Qi. The other one was Bai Chuyuan with a cold expression. He was the brother of the Heaven Extreme Sage Emperor. This time he was also the one who received the news from Ling Daoxiu. The last one was an elder wearing a robe embroidered with spiritual herbs. He was the elder of the spiritual tree clan. When the three of them arrived, Lin Piaomiao appeared and led the three of them to the city lord's mansion. May I know what the three elders are here for? Lin Piaomiao sat on the main seat. Commander Lin, you're asking the obvious. Bai Chuyuan said. Chapter 1705. Calm down, Commander Lin. Bai Chuyuan, we're here for business. Gu Qi waved his hand at Lin Piaomiao and looked at Bai Chuyuan. Bai Chuyuan's face was filled with anger, but he turned his head to the side. Elder Gu, please speak. Lin Piaomiao ignored Bai Chuyuan. It's about the appearance of the black dragon in the human territory. We want to capture that dragon language and Knight Sorrow who took in the dragon language. We don't know the details, but we have to deal with it once we get the news. Commander Lin, please tell us what you know. After all, this is the decision of the elders. Gu Qi said. All right, then I'll tell you. The dragon language came to the celestial realm from the lower realm alone. He came through the passage opened by Knight Sorrow. After that, he had no contact with Knight Sorrow. Some time ago, the despicable celestial sect captured the dragon language and wanted to refine it alive. Knight Sorrow got the news and saved him since we came out together. I didn't think it was a big problem, so I didn't do anything. Lin Piaomiao said. At her level, there was no need to lie. Commander Lin, this doesn't seem like much, but it's a big problem. We don't mean to blame you, but the black dragons wouldn't appear for no reason. I'm from the spiritual tree clan, but I don't want to see problems in the human territory. So we have to deal with the dragon language. As for Knight Sorrow, let's talk to him. If there's no problem, we won't make things difficult for him. The spiritual tree clan elder said. Thank you for your understanding, spiritual tree clan elder. I don't care about the dragon language. You can capture or kill him if you want. But Knight Sorrow is the lord of the Misty Dynasty. So please handle this carefully. Lin Piaomiao said. All right. The spiritual tree clan elder nodded. Beyong unspecified currency watch videos for free. Then please rest. Knight Sorrow isn't in the Imperial City. He entered the evil Punisher land and will be back in a month. Arrange a VIP room. Lin Piaomiao shouted at the City Lord Mansion's guards. Knight Sorrow's group of three charged towards the entrance of the evil Punisher grounds. If there were any flames of life, they would collect them. In less than 3 months, the three of them returned to the vicinity of the evil Punisher gate. Knight Sorrow removed the transmission array, because there was no need to enter again. After exiting the evil extermination gate, Knight Sorrow's group of three returned to the Night Moon Villa. After a while, Song Ning arrived and told Knight Sorrow about the incident. So I'm about to be interrogated? Knight Sorrow smiled and felt that he had a clear conscience since he didn't betray the human race. Just do what needs to be done. You're upright and there's nothing to be afraid of. They can't just pin a label on you for no reason. However, not every clan elder of the 100 Races Alliance is upright and plain-spoken. There are also some narrow-minded people. You have to be careful. Lin Xianair looked at Knight Sorrow and said. Following that, Knight Sorrow followed Song Ning to the City Lord Mansion. Lin Piaomiao sat on the City Lord's chair. 3 clan elders will be here in a while. No matter what, I won't let you be threatened. However, because this involves the human race and the 100 Races Alliance, no one can act on their own. Not even I can. Thank you, Battle Emperor. If Knight Sorrow is in trouble, I hope you can continue to support the Star Moon Lake. Knight Sorrow will be eternally grateful. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands towards Lin Piaomiao. Don't worry about this. As long as the Misty Dynasty exists, the Star Moon Lake will also exist. This is my promise. Lin Piaomiao said. Knight Sorrow nodded. He vaguely felt that this matter might be a little serious. Otherwise, the Battle Emperor Lin Piaomiao wouldn't say this. After a short while, Gu Qi, Bai Chuyuan, and Elder Ling Shu arrived and sat down. You are Knight Sorrow? Gu Qi, who was carrying a long sword on his back, looked at Knight Sorrow and asked. Knight Sorrow nodded. Then where is the Black Dragon's member, dragon language? Gu Qi asked. Knight Sorrow isn't sure. After rescuing her, she stayed for a few days and left. As for where she went, I don't know. Knight Sorrow glanced at Gu Qi and the other two and said. You still dare to be vague and not tell us the truth? Bai Chuyuan slapped the armrest of the chair. Tell you the truth? Am I a criminal? Did I commit a heinous crime? Yishan looked at Bai Chuyuan. He found Bai Chuyuan an eyesore. Bai Chuyuan was always bossy and annoying. Do you want to die? Bai Chuyuan couldn't hold it in anymore. Alright. You have the strength and the fist. You have the authority today. However, I don't know anything about the black dragons. I know dragon language, but I don't know anything about her. I don't know her whereabouts either. Night Sorrow took a deep breath. Using Ling Qinhui's words, he was a fish on the chopping block because he couldn't see through the cultivation of the three elders. You think it's okay if you don't know? Bai Chuyuan roared. If I don't know, are you going to force me to say it? Night Sorrow was enraged. If he had the strength, he would have punched Bai Chuyuan's old face. Young man, this is a big matter for the human race. We are only here to resolve some hidden dangers. Gu Qi extended his arm and stopped Bai Chuyuan, who was about to speak. Senior, can I say a few words? Night Sorrow cupped his hands at Gu Qi. Gu Qi nodded at Yi Shang. Today was his first time seeing Yi Shang, but he admired him because Yi Shang had a heroic spirit that flourished. Night Sorrow explained the situation in the Devil Blood domain, how he interacted with the dragon language and the history of the dragon language. You won the domain war. She helped you a lot. From your point of view, that's right. However, from the human race's point of view, there's a problem. The last time the human race led the alliance to fight the devil-winged race, the battle ended with a huge loss of manpower. At this time, the black dragons invaded and the human race lost 2 elders. The elders are the foundation of the human race in the celestial realm. You might think that we implicated the innocent, but that's not the case, Gu Qi said. Senior, please speak clearly. Night Sorrow knew that Gu Qi had more to say. You're not even 200 years old. There are some things you don't understand. Some races conceal some soul information before they are born. Therefore, you don't know the specifics of the dragon language. Perhaps you're innocent. However, the human race can't take the risk. Last time the human race suffered too much. 2 elders died and many emperors fell. Do you understand what I'm saying? Gu Qi looked at Night Sorrow and said. Night Sorrow felt helpless and even lost. He couldn't refute Gu Qi's words because he was a human. I understand. Senior, how do you plan to deal with this? Night Sorrow knew that this was the way things were going to go. We'll deal with the dragon language. You don't have to take responsibility. However, we have to study your problem, Gu Qi said. Scum of the human race, what's there to study? Just kill him. Bai Chuyuan stood up and his aura surged. He was about to attack. Chapter 1706. Commander Lin, don't be agitated. Elder Bai, you can't do it this way. Night Sorrow, right? I'm not a human, so I don't have any prejudice. Follow us to Tianhuang City. As for how to deal with this, the elders will decide. Elder Lingshu stood up and said. Then we'll do as Elder Lingshu says. But we have to go with our original body and doppelganger. Don't miss out. Go and inform them. Bai Chuyuan said. Haha. Night Sorrow laughed. You're a human race's elder. I can't imagine. Then we'll do that. Night Sorrow, don't worry. The elders will give you a fair ruling. Elder Bai, don't say anything. I won't work with you in the future. Gu Qi's face was ugly because he felt embarrassed. Night Sorrow, if this matter can't be dealt with properly, I'll leave Tianhuang City. Lin Piaomiao stood up and looked at Bai Chuyuan. Commander Lin, don't be like this. There's really no need. Elder Lingshu said. I'll convey Commander Lin's intentions to the elders. Gu Qi nodded to Lin Piaomiao. Night Sorrow, come back with your original body. Let them deal with this matter and see what they can do. If it's not suitable, I'll take revenge for you. Lin Piaomiao said. Since the Battle Emperor has spoken, I'll come back. Actually, I'm not afraid of them killing my original body and doppelganger. If they mess with me, I'll pay them back 100 times. Battle Emperor, please arrange a place for me in the City Lord Manor. My original body is still stabilizing my cultivation. I'll come over in the next 2 days. Night Sorrow said to Lin Piaomiao. Lin Piaomiao nodded to the guards at the entrance of the hall. Arrange a VIP room for Night Lord. Night Sorrow left the hall of the City Lord Manor and was led to the VIP room by the guards. Please bring my wife over from Night Moon Manor. Night Sorrow said to the guards. Please wait for a moment, Night Lord. I'll make the arrangements right away. The City Lord's guards nodded and went to make the arrangements. They knew about Night Sorrow and respected Night Sorrow very much. Inside City Lord Manor, Bai Chuyuan sneered. Aren't you afraid of killing your true body and avatar? What arrogance. Whether or not it's big, it's not up to Elder Bai to decide. There are some things that I don't need to explain to you. Elder Bai, you're not new to the Jianghu. Don't bully the young and poor. There are some people that you can't afford to offend. I'll talk to the person who can make the decision. Lin Piaomiao stood up and disappeared from the city lord manor. Gu Qi and Elder Ling Shu shook their heads and went to the VIP building to rest. They knew that they had offended Lin Piaomiao because Bai Chuyuan's words were too arrogant. The VIP building arranged a loft for each of them. However, Elder Ling Shu went to look for Gu Qi. Elder Gu Yishang's eyes were sharp, but there wasn't a trace of evil in them. When he communicated with us, his eyes didn't waver at all. It's clear that there's nothing shameful in his heart. What he said should be true. We can't make Commander Lin unhappy because of this. Elder Bai and I don't have much to say, so Elder Gu should deal with this matter. Stability is the most important thing. Didn't we come out for stability? If we make the ethereal dynasty unhappy and the human tribe is in turmoil, then the gains won't make up for the losses, said Elder Ling Shu. I've thought about this before. Commander Lin said that she'll talk to the person who can make the decision. We just have to bring them back. Gu Qi nodded. We're elders only because we've lived for a long time. In terms of battle achievements and ability, Commander Lin isn't any worse than us. If we don't get along well, it'll be a loss for the greater good. Elder Ling Shu said. Elder Ling Shu is right. I understand. This matter is troublesome. Other than Night Sorrow, we only have bad blood with the Black Dragons. If we directly kill a young dragon, this matter will also make the Black Dragons angry. Unfortunately, there are too many different opinions. Elder Bai is an example. Gu Qi said. Datura and Lin Xianair went to the VIP building where Night Sorrow was. Night Sorrow, you don't have to worry too much. You're a virtuous merit half-emperor. Whoever dares to touch you is blind. Lin Xianair said. I've been sealing my aura and hiding the virtuous merit in my body because I don't want to be discovered by them. Now that I've revealed some things, I'll be schemed against by some random people. I might even be eliminated by some people before I even see the person in charge. Night Sorrow waved his hand and set up an energy barrier. You're right. I'll discuss it with Lord Battle Emperor later. Lin Xianair said. After my original body comes, I'll take some defensive measures. If they want to kill me, I'll send them a clone. It's impossible for them to destroy my original body and soul. If they don't follow the rules and act recklessly, it's fine because I don't have the strength. If I have the strength, I'll fight them to the death. What human alliance? If they act recklessly, they'll only harm the human race. Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow, let's go back to the primal chaos realm. That's the safest place. Anyway, we've already broken the shackles that prevented us from becoming emperors. That's enough. Datura said worriedly. In the past, it was my dream to break the shackles of the 9-domain world that prevented us from becoming emperors. But in fact, I only broke the shackles of the 9-domain world. The world of reincarnation and the other worlds in the primal chaos realm can't do it. Therefore, the existence of Starmoon City is very necessary. If we escape, it'll be irresponsible and it'll make things difficult for Lord Battle Emperor. I also want to see the Tianhuang City and see what kind of style the clan elder who represents the human race has. Besides, I can't leave now. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Lin Xianair stayed for a while and then left. Aluo, don't worry. I've communicated with the 9-domain origin pearl. If they really want to kill me, the 9-domain origin pearl can help me. Although it can't directly return to the 9-domain world, it can help me escape for a while. It'll just consume some of the world's origin energy. It can't be used as a normal escape method. Night Sorrow said. Okay, then I'm relieved. Datura nodded. Don't worry. The 9-domain origin pearl isn't something that the evil Punisher Land's origin energy can compare to. It's a supreme origin energy and has its own intelligence. Its ability is much stronger than the evil Punisher Land's origin energy. Night Sorrow explained the situation to Datura again before releasing the barrier. Datura nodded to Night Sorrow. If I'm not here, you're the strongest in the primal chaos realm. You can make some decisions. Your original body will return to the 9-domain world. Night Sorrow said to Datura. Zhang Ning, Wufeng, Luo Yuan Dao, and Lin Qixing all found Lin Piaomiao to ask about this matter. Jiang Qianheng also came. Although they weren't close, he didn't want to see anything happen to Night Sorrow. 5 of the 7 palace lords came. Night Sorrow is very successful as a person. You don't have to worry about this matter. Others don't know about the Heavenly Desolate City and the 100 Race Alliance, but you do. This isn't something that I can make decisions about. However, I won't let them do as they please. I'll make arrangements for how to deal with it. Lin Piaomiao said. Why forever free of X fees? Look at W5, say M. Chapter 1707. Night Sorrow said to Datura, Luo, after I leave, I'll leave Night Moon Villa and Star Moon Lake to you. Since you can't become an emperor after returning to the Primal Chaos Realm, you can stay in Star Moon City with your main body and leave your clone in Night Moon Villa to handle some matters. If you have any problems, you can ask Sister Xian'er and Song Ning for help. Night Sorrow, don't worry. Night Moon Villa's matters are my business, Song Ning said to Song Ning. Song Ning said from within the Yue Villa. Shi and Wufeng were waiting for the return of Yi Shang's original body. Wufeng looked at Night Sorrow and said, "Brother will help you look after Night Sorrow." "Alright, I'm relieved." Night Sorrow nodded at them and went to the City Lord's mansion's VIP tower. His main body and his clone sorted out the resources. Night Sorrow left some necessary resources behind and handed a few storage rings to Datura's clone. "Bring them back to the 9-domain world. These are the resources for the 9-domain world's rise." Datura nodded. He knew that Night Sorrow had left them behind. Night Sorrow's trip to Tianhuang City was dangerous. No one knew how the upper echelons of Tianhuang City would deal with it. Night Sorrow also heard some news in the past 2 days. The 2 most famous cities of the human race in the celestial realm were Tianhuang City and Shindu City. Tianhuang City was a city of war, while Shindu City was the most prosperous city in the celestial realm. However, the people in charge of these 2 cities were the human race's elders. Only the forces recognized by the human race's elders could develop. The leaders of these forces were cultivators who had made contributions to the human race. They were the human race's lords. "Go back. I'll leave the children's education to you. If the children ask, just tell them I'm going out for training." Night Sorrow instructed Datura. Datura had left. Although she was worried, she knew that the human race's elders would treat Night Sorrow with caution. After all, Night Sorrow was the virtuous half-martial emperor. Even the Deluxe Merit Grand Sage and the Deluxe Merit Lord were powerful. This was the recognition of the heavenly Tao. Whoever decided to deal with Night Sorrow would hurt their own fate, or even the fate of the human race. In the past, it was very difficult for Night Sorrow to control his aura so that it did not leak out. He could not hide from the detection of experts. However, Night Sorrow's body had reached the Arch realm, and his leakless true body was even more powerful. He could seal his aura so that it did not leak out at all. His light of merit did not leak out and no one could detect him. Because they still had to capture the dragon language, even though Night Sorrow's main body and avatar had arrived, Guqi and the other 2 did not leave Ethereal Imperial City. Guqi came to see Night Sorrow. The 2 drank a jar of wine. Neither of them mentioned this matter and they just drank and chatted. Guqi asked about Night Sorrow's past. After hearing about Night Sorrow's experiences, Guqi's eyes were filled with admiration. As for the divination and the pursuit of the dragon language, Bai Chuyuan was in charge. However, he had used a secret technique twice but to no avail. This made him fly into a rage. One night Sorrow and Guqi were drinking tea when Bai Chuyuan came. His face was ashen. "You dare say that the dragon language has nothing to do with dragons? Then how did she avoid the divination? There are 2 diviners in the Ethereal City Lord Manor. My secret technique failed when the divination failed. How do you explain this?" Vijana Edition K. First release, do I need to explain? Night Sorrow looked at Bai Chuyuan and said. He knew that it was useless to speak nicely to Bai Chuyuan. Even if he had a good attitude, it was useless. Bai Chuyuan couldn't wait to kill him. "Why don't you need to explain?" Bai Chuyuan roared angrily. "I don't know about her. If you want me to explain, I can only say that the diviner's abilities are lacking. My lord's secret technique is lacking as well," Night Sorrow said. "Shall I kill you now?" Bai Chuyuan drew his sword. "Stop." Guqi stood up. "It seems like Elder Bai wants to kill the overlord of the Ethereal Imperial Dynasty in our territory. You can try. Lin Piaomiao won't stop you. However, you have to return to White Emperor City immediately to collect your corpse. I guarantee that White Emperor City will be flooded with blood." Lin Piaomiao appeared. At this moment, her body was filled with a murderous aura. White Emperor City was a territory under Bai Chuyuan's control. It was currently under the control of his descendants. "Commander Lin, what do you mean? Are you trying to scare me?" Bai Chuyuan narrowed his eyes and looked at Lin Piaomiao. Have I, Lin Piaomiao, ever tried to scare anyone? You can try and see if I'm trying to scare you." Lin Piaomiao's starry eyes curved slightly behind her veil. It was a smile of contempt. "All right, Elder Bai. I'll handle Night Sorrow's matter." Guqi stood up as well. "Bai Chuyuan, if you want to become the second Sky Emperor, I don't mind learning from the great Demon King. Killing you is a personal grudge. It won't affect the interests of the human race. Lin Piaomiao took the teapot in front of Night Sorrow and poured herself a cup of tea. She didn't show any emotion, as though she was just having a casual conversation. Although her words were calm, it had a huge effect. Gu Qi and Elder Ling Shu, who had rushed over, were stunned. Bai Qiyuan's face flushed red, but he didn't reply. The great Demon King was a title. He did things both righteously and evilly. Just like Lin Piaomiao, he was also a commander of Sky Desolation City. They were both lords of their own territories. The great Demon King was even in charge of a region. Because he couldn't stand Sky Emperor, he took action, causing Sky Emperor to not dare to show his face. Now that Lin Piaomiao had said this, if Bai Qiyuan still wanted to kill in Piaomiao dynasty, the consequences would be dire. Losing face, Bai Qiyuan flung his sleeves and left. He didn't want to provoke Lin Piaomiao. Lin Piaomiao's reputation was too great. No one on the celestial demon rankings could compare to her in a head-on fight. If she really wanted to kill someone, it would be terrifying. Bai Qiyuan didn't want to become the second Sky Emperor. Do your job well. I, Lin Piaomiao, respect every single elder of the human race. If you don't want your face, then I, Lin Piaomiao, won't hold back either. Lin Piaomiao said softly, then turned and left. Gu Qi and Elder Ling Shu looked at each other and sighed. They knew the reason for this. It was because Piaomiao dynasty had slapped Sky Emperor Sect's face and took over 80 million miles of Sky Emperor Sect's territory. Bai Qiyuan and Sky Emperor Sect were friends. Sky Emperor Sect was recommended by Bai Qiyuan to be the commander of Sky Desolation City. Later on, Sky Emperor Sect was forced by the great Demon King to not show his face. Hence, Bai Qiyuan was the one who took care of Sky Emperor Sect. Bai Qiyuan was dissatisfied that Lin Piaomiao had taken over 80 million miles of Sky Emperor Sect's territory. This was equivalent to not giving him any face. Hence, he came this time to kill Night Sorrow to save Lin Piaomiao's face. But reality was different from what Bai Qiyuan thought. Lin Piaomiao wasn't afraid of him at all. She didn't give him any face at all and even wanted to attack him. This made him helpless. Night Sorrow was very stable every day. There wouldn't be any results for now. Bai Qiyuan had his reservations about killing him. He didn't want to offend Lin Piaomiao. Chapter 1708. Night Sorrow stabilized his realm every day. However, he picked up a habit. Every morning he would wave his reincarnation spear and stretch his muscles and bones. He would display the basic spear techniques of a warrior. This was because he wasn't even considered a cultivator. Gu Qi would appreciate it with relish. Elder Ling Shu was also very quiet. He would sit for half a day with a pot of tea or a pot of aged wine. Bai Qiyuan wanted to capture the dragon language. He wouldn't leave without a result. Night Sorrow would be waiting. After stretching his muscles and bones, Night Sorrow began to cultivate his alchemy skills. He had a lot of materials now. It took him a few days to raise his alchemy skills to the Emperor level. He used to be an Emperor's preceptor, but he wasn't skilled enough because his cultivation level wasn't high enough. After raising his alchemy skills to the Emperor level, Night Sorrow took out the materials and began to forge weapons and armor. He used 5 days to forge 2 weapons. Night Sorrow also raised his alchemy skills to the Emperor level. Following that, Night Sorrow began to forge swords, battle sabers and armors in large quantities. He forged quite a few King and Heaven Monarch level swords and battle sabers. He forged a few Emperor level swords and battle sabers. Young man, you're clearly an Emperor's preceptor. Why are you still forging low-level weapons? I really don't understand you young people. Elder Ling Shu was a little confused. He couldn't suppress his curiosity and asked, Senior, I'm the only rank 9 cultivator in my hometown. Who should I refine Emperor-level weapons for? Therefore, rank 8 weapons are the most suitable. Rank 9 weapons are enough as backup. If they can reach rank 9, they will take care of the people who come after them. I won't be needed. Night Sorrow said. Your thinking is very reasonable. However, you don't have to worry too much. This matter isn't a dead end. At the very least, I don't believe that you're a traitor of the human race. Although others may have different opinions, they won't kill you. Gu Qi said. Thank you, Senior. I'm fine now. I'll do as much as I can for my hometown. Night Sorrow took out his 8-dragon cauldron and began to repair it. The 8-dragon cauldron had been pierced through by the evil Punisher's origin. It was a hole. Night Sorrow took out the materials and began to study it. He had first refined pills and weapons, then repaired the 8-dragon cauldron. This was because Night Sorrow wanted to refine the 8-dragon cauldron carefully and increase its grade and quality. This was because the eight-dragon cauldron was his protective magic treasure, and it was filled with emotions. Night Sorrow had used the most precious materials that he had accumulated. In addition, it was very difficult to repair because the eight-dragon cauldron had an artifact spirit. He had to be careful when replacing materials and arrays. Gu Qi and Elder Ling Shu were drinking tea and watching from the side. After looking at it for a day, Elder Spirit Tree opened his mouth. Elder Gu, what's the situation? Isn't it harder to repair it than to refine it again? He was an alchemist, so he didn't know much about refining weapons. This repair is indeed more difficult than refining it from scratch, but it's not useless. This is because he has preserved the most precious part of the damaged cauldron. He has preserved the artifact spirit from being harmed. However, his technique is too crude. It's the lowest level of refining. It can't even be considered an inheritance. It's just some common techniques in the celestial realm. Using such a crude refining technique to refine an emperor weapon is unheard of in the celestial realm, Gu Qi said. He was an alchemist and understood Night Sorrow's intentions from Night Sorrow's refining. He also expressed his evaluation of Night Sorrow's refining technique. This situation? His refining technique is the same. His technique is very crude. Elder Ling Shu looked at Gu Qi. The two of them looked at each other and had some thoughts. Night Sorrow didn't come from the polar region and didn't have any inheritance. This wasn't a lie. They also saw Night Sorrow's potential. High-level techniques and techniques could increase the speed of refining and refining weapons. They could also increase the quality. Therefore, no one would not use high-level techniques and techniques. Night Sorrow's low-level techniques were skillful and smooth. This was a sign of long-term use. Gu Qi and Elder Ling Shu could naturally see this. They knew that Night Sorrow didn't have any high-level inheritance. If he was a rebel, then he would definitely have one. I don't want to be crude, but regarding inheritances, even if they are ordinary, the people of the celestial realm would treat them as treasures. I can't obtain any and have tried to exchange for it, but it's still not satisfactory. However, for refining and refining weapons, I think the most important thing is to use your heart. After Night Sorrow finished repairing the eight-dragon cauldron, he expressed his opinion. That's a good idea. I suddenly have a feeling that a scum with no talent and no heart is using top-level refining and refining techniques. Isn't this a form of mockery? Elder Ling Shu looked at Gu Qi and said, Of course it is. However, everyone's life is different. Some people are born high. Their high birth is because of their ancestors' hard work. People with perseverance will obtain it themselves. Night Sorrow, what do you think? Gu Qi said, I have the same opinion. Therefore I will work hard. This way my son and daughter won't lack anything in the future. Night Sorrow finished refining and washed his face. That's the truth. Gu Qi nodded and said, Bai Chuyuan wanted to catch the dragon language crazily. He couldn't mobilize the people of the Misty Dynasty, so he mobilized people from the Celestial Sect to investigate the footprints of the dragon language. The fortune-tellers were also constantly divining, but every time they divined, it was all dark. The best time was when they saw the figure of the dragon language, but the surroundings were hazy so they couldn't determine the location. The dragon language was very cautious. After leaving, he used his innate secret technique to avoid being divined. When the secret technique failed, he used an illusion array disc to control the surroundings and not be seen by others. In a manner, in a city under the Celestial Sect, Ling Tian was looking at the information brought by Ling Ju. I didn't expect him to come to the Celestial Realm and develop so quickly. Ling Tian's expression was ugly because his future was ruined by Night Sorrow. After running to the Celestial Realm, Ling Tian went to the Celestial Sect to beg for forgiveness. He explained what happened. Because his cultivation was not bad, Ling Daoshu didn't kill him and arranged for him to be a manager in a subordinate city. The Thousand Return Emperor is a 2-star emperor, but he was still captured by him. His strength is terrifying. Ling Ju said. He hated Night Sorrow because Night Sorrow destroyed his cultivation path. Night Sorrow has a weakness. I will go find the sect master and tell him about Night Sorrow's weakness. As long as he can touch the primal chaos realm, then Night Sorrow will compromise. He will give in to any request. Ling Tian said. Then Ling Tian risked being punished and went to see Ling Daoshu. Although it was very annoying, Ling Daoshu still went to see Ling Tian. Ling Tian told him about Night Sorrow's situation. He's the one who ruined our plans? Damn it, but it's a good thing to know where his nest and foundation are. The passage he used to come back is one way. If he can come to the Celestial Realm, then there must be another passage. As long as we can find the passage, then things will be easy. Ling Daoshu saw some ways to deal with night sorrow. Then I will go and investigate this matter. Ling Tian took the initiative to ask for permission because he wanted to make a contribution. Up. Chapter 1709. Ling Daoshu felt that night sorrow was dead for sure because this involved the entire human race. Furthermore, he guessed that the passageway or teleportation circle might be in Xinhua City. The reason why he still needed to investigate was because he had to be cautious. The Chaos Realm was a region that had not been touched by any forces in the Celestial Realm. It was rich in resources, which was very important to the Celestial Sect. Previously, because they had limited manpower in the Chaos Realm, they could only resort to stealing the Chi of Origin. However, if there was a stable passageway or teleportation circle, they could rule for a long time. This was a great opportunity for the Celestial Sect. Night Sorrow was still in the VIP tower, so his freedom was restricted. A month had passed, and Bai Chuyuan's investigation of the dragon language was fruitless. Under such circumstances he could only give up. Giving up on searching for the dragon language, Gu Qi and the other two returned to Tianhuang City. Lin Piaomiao did not appear. It was Luo Yuandao's farewell banquet. Lin Piaomiao is too arrogant. What's wrong? She doesn't even care about the 100 Races Elder Conference? Bai Chuyuan was unhappy. Our battle emperor has other matters to attend to. She'll be here later. Luo Yuandao said. All right, let's leave after drinking. Elder Ling Shu said. After the banquet, Gu Qi, Elder Ling Shu, and Bai Chuyuan left with Night Sorrow, heading towards the teleportation circle. When they were about to enter the teleportation circle, Lin Piaomiao appeared. Isn't it a little late to send you off now? Bai Chuyuan said. Elder Bai, you're overthinking. Night Sorrow, I'm here to send you off. Don't worry. Don't worry about Xinhua Lake. I'll be heading to Tianhuang City soon. Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow and said. Thank you, Battle Emperor. You don't have to worry about Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow clasped his hands towards Lin Piaomiao. There's no need to thank me. I'm not just the ethereal Battle Emperor, I'm also your friend. You can go in peace. The ethereal Battle Emperor took off his veil. Night Sorrow was stunned when he saw the ethereal Battle Empress's exquisite face under the veil. Not only was this the face of a peerless beauty, but it was also because he recognized her. She was Sister Shinner, whom he had spent a long time with. Nodding her head at Night Sorrow, Lin Shinner turned around and left. She had come to give Night Sorrow some peace of mind. After entering the transfer array, Night Sorrow followed Gu Qi and the other two and started the transfer. Night Sorrow was very quiet. He could finally let go of the things that he couldn't let go of in his heart. The Misty Battle Empress was Lin Shinner, so the Star Moon Lake was as stable as Mount Tai. After leaving the teleportation circle, Lin Piaomiao went to the City Lord's mansion and called for Tsang Station a branch of the Tsang army near Star Moon Lake. Kill anyone who dares to touch Star Moon Lake. Lin Piaomiao gave the order. At this moment, Lin Shinner left the Star Moon Mountain Villa. Her destination was also the teleportation circle. She couldn't leave Night Sorrow's matter alone. Gu Qi and the other two brought Night Sorrow through the teleportation circle. After a day, they arrived at a teleportation circle that Night Sorrow couldn't tell the cultivation level of the guard. An Emperor-grade teleportation circle. Night Sorrow could tell that it was an Emperor-grade teleportation circle. After another teleportation circle, the four of them entered Tianhuang City. After exiting the teleportation circle, Night Sorrow was stunned by the aura of Tianhuang City. This was because he had never seen such an environment and aura before. Throw him into jail first. We will report to the Council of Elders. Bai Chuyuan said. Is it appropriate to throw him into jail? Elder Ling Shu glanced at Night Sorrow and asked. If we don't throw him into jail, are we going to treat him like a VIP? If he runs around, what if he finds out about our Tianhuang City? Bai Chuyuan insisted. Seeing that Gu Qi was about to speak, Night Sorrow stretched his body. Thank you, elders. Jail it is. It's fine. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Gu Qi didn't say anything else. Since they were in Tianhuang City, they had to settle things. Even if Night Sorrow was thrown into jail, it wouldn't be a big deal. Bai Chuyuan led the way. They arrived at an ancient pagoda in the city and went underground. Greetings, elders. Just as they went underground, a man in black armor appeared. Lock this person up and guard him strictly. Don't let anything happen to him. Bai Chuyuan said. Don't use any tricks. He's a human. There are still some things that haven't been settled yet. For now we're just keeping him here. Iron Flow, do you understand? Gucci said. He was worried that Iron Flow would treat Night Sorrow as a prisoner and punish him. Iron Flow understands. Iron Flow nodded. Gucci and the other two left the ancient pagoda. It's late today. Tomorrow we'll gather everyone for a discussion and see what the disciplinary elders have to say. Elder Ling Shu said. Gucci nodded and left. Bai Chuyuan didn't say anything. Young man, what have you done at such a young age? Why did the three elders send you to jail together? The people locked up in jail are all serious criminals who have committed heinous crimes. Iron Flow said. Are they all guilty of heinous crimes? Seems like I'm quite lucky to receive such treatment. Night Sorrow smiled. Since Elder Gu has instructed, I won't make things difficult for you. I'll give you a comfortable room. Iron Flow sized up Night Sorrow and found it strange. After being sent to the ancient pagoda, none of them were calm. They either felt wronged or cursed angrily. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation $. Thank you. A comfortable cell isn't bad. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at Iron Flow. Iron Flow sent Night Sorrow to a cell. The cell was very clean, but there were black locks hanging around it. After locking the door, Iron Flow left. Array cell. After Iron Stream fastened the lock in his hand, runes of an array appeared on the walls and the door of the cell. Energy flowed through them. After sensing it, Night Sorrow knew that he would be injured if he touched it. The array's energy was very strong. Thinking about Night Sorrow, he understood. This was an important place in the human alliance. The people locked up in this cell were all big shots of the enemy camp or the most vicious people of the human race. Those who could reach this level were all experts among experts. Since he was already here, Night Sorrow took out a jar of wine. After taking a sip, he sat down and cultivated. His body had just broken through recently, so he needed to familiarize himself with it and stabilize it. Lin Xin Air was the Misty Battle Empress. Night Sorrow didn't expect Lin Xin Air to be Misty Battle Empress, but it was also something that made him happy. Because everything was stable, he could face everything with ease. He believed that he had not done anything wrong to the human race and that he had a clear conscience, so he was not afraid of anything. He was a virtuous merit pseudo-emperor, so if he was labeled as a traitor, then he had nothing to say. Tianhuang City was quiet at night, so quiet that it was frightening. There were no lights, only lighthouses. Lin Xin Air walked out of the transmission array and walked towards the tallest ancient pagoda. She was worried about Night Sorrow. Chapter 1710. Lin Piaomiao arrived in front of an ancient pagoda and entered after flashing her identity token. She then went to a room in the ancient pagoda. Piaomiao requests to see Granny. Piaomiao is here. How rare. Come in and have a seat. An old lady holding a dragon-headed walking stick appeared. She had a head full of silver hair, but her face was rosy without a single wrinkle. Lin Piaomiao carried her golden dress and entered the room in the ancient pagoda. Granny, Piaomiao has something I need your help with. Lin Piaomiao said after entering the room. That's strange. It's been so many years and I've never seen you ask for help. Tell me about it. The white-haired granny said. After Lin Piaomiao sat down, she told the granny about Night Sorrow and Night Sorrow's situation from beginning to end. Night Sorrow. Granny is familiar with this name. I remember now. The Divine Devil Castle sent a message to apply for a Divine Devil Guardian for him. He came from a humble background and reached this level before the age of 200. It's definitely unprecedented, not to mention that he's a virtuous half-emperor. How can he be a traitor of the human race? That's a joke. The white-haired granny said. There are many people nowadays who are more extreme in their actions. It's hard to bear this accusation. Therefore, Piaomiao wishes to see the Grand Elder. Lin Piaomiao said. The elders of the 100 Races Alliance led by the human race had different levels of elders. There were ordinary elders, law enforcement elders, and Grand Elder. Only the law enforcement elders had the qualifications to see the elders. Lin Piaomiao wasn't even an elder, so she didn't have the qualifications and needed a referral. The white-haired granny was one of the law enforcement elders. For the past million years, the law enforcement elder, Xiao Jun, has been on duty. He's more extreme in his actions. When it comes to this matter, he'd rather kill 1,000 innocents than let the culprit go. Therefore, you really need to see the Grand Elder. If the virtuous half-emperor is true, then the Grand Elder can just write a letter and be done with it. Such a young man should be heavily nurtured. How can he harm his own brother? At this moment, in another ancient pagoda, Bai Chuyuan was reporting the situation to a red-robed elder. He also mentioned Lin Piaomiao's attitude. Elder Enforcer, if we don't deal with this quickly, I'm afraid someone will interfere. It's hard to say if Gu Qi and Spirit Tree will find someone to interfere, but Lin Piaomiao will definitely find someone to plead for leniency. If someone interferes and we can't deal with it, it will become a hidden danger. It's hard to say if Night Sorrow has any connections with the dragons. Once this bomb explodes, it will be very troublesome. Bai Chuyuan said. First release, if we kill them directly, it will cause unnecessary conflicts and affect stability. How about this? Take him away tomorrow morning and banish him to the outside of Heaven Wasteland. That is not the territory of the human race. Whether he is alive or dead, whether he is a hidden danger or not, it doesn't matter. Banish both his original body and avatar and there won't be any problems in the future. The red-robed elder thought for a moment and said. The red-robed old man was the law enforcement sect's elder Xiao Jun who had been on duty for the past 1,000,000 years. I'm afraid that won't work. He was sent to the prison by Gu Qi, Spirit Tree and Chuyuan. Chuyuan can't get him out himself. Bai Chuyuan said. The prison system in Heaven Wasteland City was very strict. Whoever sent him in could only take him away. Of course, this was unless it was an order from the Elder Enforcer or Grand Elder. Tycoon, bring some people and Elder Bai with my letter. We will handle this together. Xiao Jun said to the man standing by the side. That was his eldest disciple, Tycoon. Master, don't worry. I will handle this matter well with Elder Bai. Tycoon, who was burly and had a face full of killing intent, bowed and said. Night Sorrow was meditating when the door to the prison opened. Bai Chuyuan and Tycoon appeared in the cell. Iron Flow was also there. Elder Gu isn't here? Night Sorrow stood up and asked. He knew that he had been tricked. Bai Chuyuan had obviously avoided Gu Qi and Spirit Tree who were more protective of him and wanted to do something dirty. Night Sorrow, the Elder Enforcer, has sent a letter. This matter will be handled by Elder Bai and Commander Tycoon. Iron Flow said. Alright. However, I want to know the outcome. If there is no outcome, I can only stay in this cell and not leave. Night Sorrow knew that the time to decide his fate had come. He didn't even have the chance to prove that he was the merit pseudo-emperor because Bai Chuyuan was too fast and too ruthless. Master has ordered that you will be banished. Tycoon said. Banished? Alright. I can accept it. I can banish you however I want. Night Sorrow didn't refute when he heard that he would be banished. If he wasn't killed immediately, it meant that there was still a chance. After exiting the ancient pagoda prison, Night Sorrow realized that the lineup that was going to deal with him was really strong. Among the team led by Chuyuan and Tycoon, there were 2 people whose cultivation levels he couldn't see through. There were also 4 people who were rank 9 monarchs. Take him away. Bai Chuyuan shouted. At this moment, 2 people whose cultivation levels Night Sorrow couldn't see through walked towards Night Sorrow. There's no need to take him away. I'll walk on my own. Night Sorrow smiled. Then, under Bai Chuyuan and Tycoon's lead, the team flew west. An hour later, they arrived at the western city wall of Tianhuang City. Bai Chuyuan made a few hand gestures, and the array formation that was circulating on the city wall paused for a moment. Night Sorrow, the opposite is Heaven Wasteland. There are all kinds of races with heaven-defying talents, and they are all opponents of the human race. There is also the natural enemy of the human race, the Demon Wing Clan. The Demon Wing Clan is very powerful, and they have the habit of hunting and eating the human race. Moreover, each of them is very powerful. Whether you can survive or not will depend on your luck. Also, let me tell you, you have to run quickly. This bridge is only safe for an hour. Later, the silent black wind, which is similar to the divine wind of destruction in the trial of wind and fire, will appear. After saying that, Bai Chuyuan waved his right hand and an energy vortex appeared. It enveloped Night Sorrow and threw him out of the crack in the city wall's array formation. Night Sorrow's expression changed. Bai Chuyuan was too ruthless. How was this banishment? This was murder. Furthermore, he was using a borrowed knife to kill. He was using the natural enemy of the human race to eliminate Night Sorrow. After throwing Night Sorrow out, Bai Chuyuan activated the defensive array formation on the city wall. After landing, Night Sorrow looked at the majestic modeled city wall. He knew that Bai Chuyuan wasn't lying. The marks on the city wall were filled with the aura of destruction. Once the Nirvana black wind appeared, he wouldn't be able to withstand it. Since the city wall was covered in such marks, it meant that the Nirvana black wind had a large area of effect. It was different from the divine wind of destruction, which only attacked a single area. Left with no choice, Night Sorrow turned around and used his spacetime domain to fly at his fastest speed. He had to fly out of Tianhuang City's bridge as soon as possible. If he was too slow, he would be in trouble when the astral winds arrived. He didn't want to die yet. He still had to seek justice for himself. This is fate. Nothing good will come to those who offend Elder Bai. Tycoon glanced at Bai Chuyuan before turning to leave. His eyes were filled with disdain as he despised Bai Chuyuan's actions. Chapter 17:11. Night Sorrow used his fastest speed to rush forward. The bridge over the sea was very long. Night Sorrow flew for hundreds of thousands of miles before he left the sea and reached the land. When Night Sorrow reached the land, the astral winds behind him started to blow. It was incomparably strong. He couldn't go back. The astral winds were too strong. Night Sorrow knew that he couldn't go back this time. Perhaps he could wait until tomorrow and return to Heaven Desolate City during the astral winds cycle. However, if he couldn't go in, he wouldn't have enough time to run back. He didn't know that this sea region was the natural barrier between the human race and the demon-winged race. It was called the Nirvana Ocean. One couldn't fly over it. If he rashly entered the ocean, he would enter the Nirvana Samsara. Not to mention whether he could go back or not, Night Sorrow had to survive first. At this time, the Nirvana black wind swept towards the shore. Night Sorrow got up and ran. If he didn't run, he would be easily swept away by the Nirvana black wind. After flying for hundreds of thousands of miles, Night Sorrow reached the safe zone. Although it was called a safe zone, it was actually an area where the Nirvana black wind couldn't invade. Unknown dangers were everywhere. Night Sorrow knew that he was in the enemy camp. If he encountered the demon-winged race, he would be really unlucky. Night Sorrow didn't move. After the Haotian godly pagoda smashed into the ground, he entered. He needed information now. He needed information about Heaven Desolate. Without information, running around in the dark would be suicide. Although his original body and avatar were exiled, Night Sorrow still had a way because he still had an avatar in the Heaven Sealing Hall. Night Sorrow's avatar came out of the Heaven Sealing Hall and found 9 Regions City Lord's mansion. He asked Tai Shu Yen to inform Dachura to come and see him. No one in the Primal Chaos domain would delay Night Sorrow's matter. They would deal with it immediately. Soon, Dachura arrived at the Heaven Sealing Hall. Night Sorrow, what's the situation? Dachura asked. Night Sorrow said to Dachura, I was tricked. They didn't give me a fair trial and dealt with me privately. Go find Sister Xianair and tell her that I want information about Tian Huang. If you don't see her, go find Song Ning and tell him that you want information about Ethereal Combat Emperor. Wait for me. Dachura stood up and left. She did not ask Night Sorrow if the Ethereal Battle Emperor would give it to her. Now that Night Sorrow was in danger, she had to hurry. Returning to the Yue villa, Mandela indeed did not see Lin Xian'er. At this moment, Lin Xian'er did not exist. Lin Piaomiao's original body had left the Misty Dynasty, which meant that her clone was in charge of the Misty Dynasty. Lin Xian'er had temporarily disappeared. Hearing Dachura's intention, Song Ning brought Dachura to the glazed pagoda in the City Lord's mansion. She knew that the Ethereal Combat Emperor and Lin Xian'er were the same person. Lin Piaomiao would definitely help Night Sorrow. When Song Ning and Lin Xian'er arrived, the door of the glazed pagoda opened. Lin Piaomiao was waiting for them inside. After hearing Dachura's words, Lin Piaomiao directly punched the outside of the pagoda. A stone mountain at the door of the pagoda directly collapsed. Since you're messing around, then I won't care so much. This is a letter about Heaven Desolate City and Heaven Desolate. Take it. Luckily, Night Sorrow still has a clone at home and can be contacted. This is my token. If you need anything, you don't have to report to me. Lin Piaomiao threw a token to Mandela. At this moment, Lin Piaomiao, who was drinking tea with the white-haired old woman in the Heavenly Desolation City, crushed the teacup in her hand. What's wrong? The white-haired old woman looked at Lin Piaomiao and frowned. Granny, they did not give Night Sorrow a chance to explain or prove himself. They directly banished Night Sorrow to Heavenly Desolation. Lin Piaomiao stood up. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation, damn it. Is there a need to be so anxious? What is Xiao Jun trying to do? The white-haired old woman stood up and knocked her walking stick on the ground. Night Sorrow was the virtuous merit half-emperor. This matter was too serious. By Chuyuan, Lin Piaomiao will definitely kill him. Killing intent appeared on Lin Piaomiao's face. Calm down. Granny, inform the other law enforcement elders to find Xiao Jun for an explanation. Also, we need to see how to deal with this matter. The white-haired old woman closed her eyes for a while and stood up. Just now, she had informed the other law enforcement elders through soul transmission. The white-haired old woman's name was Qin Xinjie. She was once very famous. However, as time passed, her name did not spread to the world. Xiao Jun also received the news. Seems like this matter is quite serious. Tycoon called by Chu Yuan to the conference hall. Soon, many people gathered in the conference hall of the central high tower. Sect Elder Xiao, regarding Night Sorrow's matter, don't you think you handled it inappropriately? Qin Xinjie, who was sitting on a silver chair, spoke. There were 7 silver chairs and 2 golden chairs in the conference hall. The 7 silver chairs were for the law enforcement elders. The 2 golden chairs were for the Grand Elder and the City Lord. However, the City Lord's seat had always been empty. How is it inappropriate? Since it's a hidden danger, it should be completely eliminated. There's nothing wrong with banishing him, Xiao Jun said. Have you investigated it? Have you found out about the young man's situation? Qin Xinjie asked. The other law enforcement elders were waiting for Xiao Jun's answer. This is the result of the investigation of the 3 elders. How could it be wrong? Xiao Jun said. Then let's wait for the 3 elders to arrive and see what they have to say. Inform them, one of the law enforcement elders said. Moments later, Gu Qi, Ling Shu, and Bai Chu Yuan arrived. Elder Bai, tell us about Night Sorrow's situation, Xiao Jun said. Seeing so many elders and law enforcement elders present, Bai Chu Yuan was stunned. Then he explained the situation, mainly emphasizing Night Sorrow's unyielding character. Elder Gu, what do you think? Qin Xinjie looked at Gu Qi. That young man should be fine. His eyes are pure and he looks handsome. He doesn't look like a traitor. Therefore, I suggest that the sect elders carefully judge him. He's a good seedling. He's a martial emperor cultivator who's less than 200 years old. He has the strength to fight above his level and capture a 2-star martial emperor. He's worth nurturing, Gu Qi said. Nurture? Last night, we banished him to Tianhuang region without a trial. Are we trying to destroy our own cultivation and destroy our own empire? Qin Xinjie slammed his walking stick on the ground. What? Last night, Elder Ling Shu, Elder Bai, and I sent Night Sorrow to his cell. Today we have to report it to the law enforcement elders. How could he be banished? Gu Qi was stunned. He was the current law enforcement elder of the human race. When there was a trial, he should be present. Chapter 1712. Piao Miao, calm down. Xiao Jun, is this the result of your investigation that the virtuous half-emperor was exiled? Is he really going to destroy his own foundation? Qin Xinjie's face turned cold. What's going on? A grand perfection virtuous half-martial emperor can become a virtuous emperor at any time. This is the future of our human race. Are you all crazy to banish him as a traitor? Another old man sitting on a silver chair roared. But no one explained it to me. Xiao Jun's face didn't look too good. This matter involved too many things. If no one explained it to you, why did you exile him in the middle of the night? Can't you wait until dawn? Harmony in the alliance is the most important thing. But let me ask you one thing. What is Xiao Jun's intention? Is he going to destroy the foundation of our human race or what? The old man roared again. Emperor Tang, this matter hasn't been concluded yet. You don't have to be so agitated. There has never been a virtuous half-emperor in history, right? Who can prove it? Xiao Jun said. Then who can prove that he's a traitor? The law enforcement elder called Emperor Tang stood up. Piao Miao, it's your turn to speak. Qin Xinjie said. When he advanced his virtuous body, Lin Piao Miao was right beside him. Aren't you guys very good at divination? Now you need proof? Are you out of your mind? Lin Piao Miao was furious. Lin Piao Miao, be polite. This is the human clan's council of elders. Bai Chu Yuan stood up and said. Be polite to you? Since I've decided to withdraw, I won't give you any face. You better not go out. If you go out, I'll kill you. Lin Piao Miao, want to see how strong you are. Lin Piao Miao didn't give Bai Chu Yuan any face. Lin Piao Miao's words had peeled off a layer of skin on everyone's face. Can't we do divination? Let's do it now. Since we've decided to cause trouble today, let's try it. Emperor Tang said. Elder Zhai Xing, you're good at divination. Give it a try. Since Elder Bai needs proof, we'll give him the proof. Once the results are out, we'll have to come to a conclusion about what happened last night. We'll have to see if it was intentional and if it was to destroy our own foundation, Qin Xinjie said to a skinny old man. The old man nodded and looked at Gu Qi. Elder Gu, I'll start to find a connection with him from you. Is that alright? Normally he should start from Lin Piaomiao to find a way to interact with Night Sorrow. However, Lin Piaomiao was in a fit of anger. This skinny elder Zhai Xing could only be replaced with someone else. Sure. Gu Qi nodded. There were no problems with the divination skills of the human race patriarchs. They were extremely well trained. It only took a moment for the divination to begin. The scene began to change. Pass. Lin Piaomiao said when she saw the image. Look at Chapter B of version 0, J. Divination could be used to divine the present and the past. Some insignificant scenes would be ignored. Night Sorrow had only recently become a virtuous merit half-martial emperor. It had not even been a month, so it was very easy for him to divine the future. There's no blind person here, right? Everyone can see the depth of the virtuous power. Is this the human race's rebellion? Qin Xinjia's ruddy face was no longer red. It was replaced by a cold white color. Xiao Jun, we need an explanation. Emperor Tang spoke. This is my mistake. When I received the report, I only knew that he had connections with the Black Dragons. Therefore, I didn't want any hidden dangers to exist. Therefore I banished him. As for him being a virtuous merit half-martial emperor, no one reported this. Therefore I made a mistake in judgment. Xiao Jun's face was ugly. He knew that something had gone wrong. Commander Lin, why didn't anyone mention that he was a virtuous body? Emperor Tang looked at Lin Piaomiao. Because he was afraid that some people would assassinate him. Therefore he planned to talk about this after meeting the person in charge. However, some people still tried to assassinate him. I arrived shortly after and didn't even make it in time. That's a good move. They didn't even let him sleep. Lin Piaomiao's face was filled with killing intent. Her eyes were fixed on Bai Chuyuan. She knew that Bai Chuyuan was the one who added fuel to the fire. Someone wanted to kill him. Why did they want to kill him instead of bringing him back? Elder Gu, what's the situation? Emperor Tang asked. Because Elder Bai said several times that we would kill him directly. Therefore he was worried. There's nothing wrong with that. Gu Qi didn't give Bai Chuyuan any face. Elder Ling Shu, you went with him too. What's the situation? A middle-aged man in silver clothes asked. He was also sitting on a silver chair. I'm very disappointed. I was worried that something might go wrong. Therefore Elder Gu and I were very cautious. We accompanied him until he was sent to the dungeon. We planned to discuss with the enforcement elder today. Night Sorrow didn't get the chance and neither did I. Elder Ling Shu sighed. Elder Bai, Enforcement Elder Xiao, do you have anything to say? If not, I will report this matter to the Great Elder and let the Great Elder decide on this matter. In addition, we will also discuss the problem of rescuing him, the man in silver said. He was Lu Qi, the sect elder in charge of discipline in Tianhuang City. People called him Sect Elder 7. I have nothing to say. Xiao Jun said. Commander Lin, please don't say anything about leaving the alliance. The rise and fall of the human race is everyone's responsibility. Even if it's not satisfactory, we'll think of a way to solve it. I'll give you an explanation and justice for Night Sorrow. Lu Qi looked at Lin Piaomiao and said. That's right. Piaomiao, you're in charge of the Piaomiao Empire. There are also some palace lords under you who are unsatisfactory. However, it doesn't affect the overall situation. Elder 7 will handle it well. Qin Xinjia said. Commander Lin, you abhor evil. I see you as the next enforcement elder. I've told Elder Qin about this. Won't you disappoint us if you leave? Lu Qi looked at Lin Piaomiao. In the 100 Races Alliance, humans occupied most of the elder seats. There were rules in the alliance and there would be people to implement and manage them. The enforcement elder was in charge of the internal discipline. How could he manage the discipline without great combat strength? Therefore Lu Qi had told Qin Xinjia, who was the closest to Lin Piaomiao. Lin Piaomiao had the ability but lacked experience. Piaomiao has disappointed Elder 7. I won't say anything about leaving. However, I'm not done with him. Lin Piaomiao pointed at Bai Chuyuan and said. Elder Bai, before the Grand Elder's decision is made, you're not allowed to leave Tianhuang City. Otherwise you'll be executed. Disperse. Commander Lin, follow me to see the Grand Elder. Lu Qi stood up and walked out of the meeting hall. Lin Piaomiao glanced at Bai Chuyuan and left the meeting hall. In the end the elders left. Xiao Jun took Bai Chuyuan with him. Now that Bai Chuyuan was in trouble, Xiao Jun also had problems. Therefore he had to give an explanation. He had to wait for the Grand Elder's decision. During this period he had to watch over Bai Chuyuan. Chapter 1713. Sect Elder Qin, this generation's commander, is really troublesome. The great demon king is not letting go of heaven's fate, causing the commander of heaven's fate to only exist in name. He doesn't even dare to show his face. Now Elder Bai is probably not any better. Lin Piaomiao won't let him go. Emperor Tang said. He's an enemy of the Merit Demi-Emperor and used a secret move against him. He's destined to lose his fortune and be unlucky. What can we do about it? As the old saying goes, don't bully a poor young man. Who are you blaming for being blind? Qin Xinjia's words were filled with anger. It's not a big problem. It's only been half a day. This kid can't have gone far. The Grand Elder has given the order. We'll wait for the tidal period to arrive and go out to look for him. A young man who's not even 200 years old can cultivate to the Emperor realm and even reach the Merit Demi-Emperor realm. This is the future of our human race. This is a good thing. I'm suddenly very happy. Emperor Tang said with a smile. We should send someone to investigate this kid's past and help him choose a suitable path for his development. All right, Guqi and Ling Shu don't look happy today. They should be admiring Night Sorrow. Let's go and ask them. Emperor Tang stood up and said. After that, Emperor Tang and Qin Xinjia found Elder Ling Shu. In a courtyard, Elder Ling Shu was kicking a medicinal cauldron. What's the matter? Why is Elder Ling Shu so angry? Qin Xinjia asked. Elder Ling Shu greets the two law enforcement sect elders. Elder Ling Shu just feels that it's unfair. Elder Ling Shu said after tidying up his robe. Because of Night Sorrow? Emperor Tang sat down and looked at the medicinal cauldron that was already flattened. Yes. If our Ling Shu clan has such a young man, we'll use the entire clan's strength to nurture him. The human race is big and powerful, so we don't care. It's just that the kid has suffered. Elder Ling Shu said. It seems that Elder Ling Shu knows a lot about Night Sorrow. Can you tell us more about him? Qin Xinjia asked. He's not even 200 years old, but his past is legendary. During this period of time, I've heard a lot about him. He's courageous, fearless, and has battle prowess that far surpasses his cultivation. He's an indomitable spirit, and he's also an imperial blacksmith and imperial alchemist. Such a person was actually sentenced to be a traitor to humanity and banished. Is there any justice in this? If you humans don't want him, give him to my Spirit Tree clan. If anything goes wrong, I'm willing to take his head, said Elder Spirit Tree. Commander Lin Piaomiao can't tolerate sand in her eyes. She appreciates him so much. But Elder Ling Shu, don't think about snatching him away. Do you think the 7th sect elder will give in? Besides, Elder Ling Shu, don't be angry. After a cultivator with the body of merit appears, it's a cleansing phase. It's a cleansing phase for those with inferior moral conduct. There will be endless disputes around him. If he doesn't fall, he'll be enforcing justice on behalf of the heavens. Those who shouldn't exist will be erased. Emperor Tang said. That's true. Since you guys know about it, you naturally won't let him go. When he comes back, I'll take him as my disciple in alchemy. You guys don't have any objections, right? Elder Ling Shu said. That's not a problem. Of course, it depends on him. I'm impressed that Elder Ling Shu can forego racial prejudice and impart your skills. Emperor Tang looked at Elder Ling Shu and said. It can't be helped. You guys haven't seen him refine pills. His technique is so crude that it's unbearable to look at. But with such a crude technique, there's no problem in refining emperor-level pills. I even heard that he's an emperor-level alchemist before becoming an emperor. What kind of talent is that? Elder Ling Shu was a little agitated as he kicked the cauldron again. Don't be agitated. We understand. Emperor Tang quickly waved his hand. I shouldn't talk behind people's backs. But that old bastard Bai Chuyuan deserves to die. Elder Ling Shu roared. The 7th sect elder will handle this matter. I still don't understand. This is the first time Elder Bai and Night Sorrow have met, right? Why are they hostile? Emperor Tang asked, puzzled. Elder Ling Shu knows a little. This matter is related to the Celestial Sect. Bai Chuyuan has a good relationship with the Celestial Sect. Celestial Sect was forced by the Great Demon King to hide, so he has been taking care of the Celestial Sect. This time, Night Sorrow captured a 2-star emperor from the Celestial Sect, the one who captured a member of the Black Dragons to refine pills alive. Night Sorrow abhors evil. He killed the 2-star emperor right in front of the Celestial Sect master. This time, the news reached Bai Chuyuan's ears through the Celestial Sect. This is the cause and effect. Sect elders, do you understand now? Elder Ling Shu said. That bastard is using his position to avenge private grudges. Qin Xinjia cursed. At this moment, Lu Qi brought Lin Piaomiao to the top floor of the central tower. That was where the Grand Elder usually cultivated. After the two of them arrived, an oval-shaped energy door appeared. Lu Qi brought Lin Piaomiao in. After entering, the two of them saw a small world filled with birds and fragrant flowers. In a pavilion, an old man with white hair and beard sat cross-legged on a futon. His aura was very calm, but beside him was a silver spear with a soaring aura. I already know what happened. The old man opened his eyes and pointed at the futon in front of Lu Qi and Lin Piaomiao. Grand Elder, that Bai Chuan should be beheaded. Lu Qi said after sitting down. Behead? Forget it. After all, he has contributed to the human race in the past. Strip him of his elder status and expel him from Tianhuang City. As for law enforcement Elder Shao, this is a mistake. He has a ruthless personality, but he didn't mean to destroy the foundation of the human race. He has already informed me to end his law enforcement term early. The white-haired Grand Elder said. Then I will send someone to bring that Night Sorrow back. Lu Qi said. Don't bring him back. Since he has been exiled, we will follow this ruling. The Grand Elder shook his head. How can we do that? He is the virtuous merit half-emperor. He is the future of the human race. Lu Qi said anxiously. If a jade is not carved, it will not become a treasure. A sword's edge must be sharpened. This is a test for him, a tempering. After this baptism, he will become mature and powerful, said the Great Elder. #. Z chapter #section 1, Grand Elder, he is too young. How can he be a match for those winged demon race? This is too risky. Lin Piaomiao said. This is not my decision. When you came an hour ago, my decision was the same as yours. Now this is the City Lord's order. This is the City Lord's first order in this little era, the Great Elder said as he looked at the receipt of the ticket. The City Lord knows about this? Lu Qi looked at the Grand Elder in surprise. I don't know how the order came. The City Lord is concerned about this matter. You don't have to worry about it. The Grand Elder nodded. Why is there such an arrangement? Lin Piaomiao was puzzled. Chapter 17-14. Immortal Potential? Lu Qi stood up, his face full of shock. That's right. So don't ask about this anymore. Come back when he passes the tide of nirvana. The City Lord said that you can contact him. Tell him that when he passes the tide of nirvana, I will personally come out of the city to welcome him. However, from today onwards, the Heavenly Desolate City will deactivate the anti-star formation and will no longer affect the tide of nirvana. In other words, the tide of nirvana will surround the Heavenly Desolate City at all times, the Grand Elder said to Lin Piaomiao. Didn't you say that his original body and clone were exiled? Lu Qi looked at Lin Piaomiao. Of his two clones, one is in his own world? Lin Piaomiao asked. She only found out when Dachira asked her for information. Two clones? How ruthless. Immortal potential. Since the City Lord has asked about this, I won't interfere anymore. Let's go, Commander Lin. Lu Qi stood up. Commander Lin, let's not find trouble with Bai Chuyuan for now. Let's wait until Night Sorrow's problem is completely resolved. One more thing, there are members of other races around Night Sorrow. No matter what race they are not allowed to attack. This is also the City Lord's intention. Also, Shao Jun has cancelled his enforcement period. Elder Lu, take over. The Grand Elder said. Lu Qi nodded and left the tower with Lin Piaomiao. Commander Lin, that's all. We'll do as the Grand Elder said. The City Lord hasn't asked about the Heavenly Desolate City's matters for many years. Now that he has asked, it means that he has made arrangements, Lu Qi said after leaving the tower. All right. Lin Piaomiao nodded. She knew that the only ones who were extreme in the treatment of Night Sorrow were Shao Jun and Bai Chuyuan. Now that the two of them had dealt with it, they could only wait and see. Also, leave one of your original body and one of your avatars in Tianhuang City and follow me to deal with the matters of the law enforcement period. After this law enforcement period, I will step down as the Commandment Elder. I think you are suitable, Lu Qi said. But Misty's experience is still shallow. Lin Piaomiao said. She knew that the person with the highest position in the Council of Elders was the Grand Elder, followed by the Law Enforcing Elder, and the Discipline Elder was in charge of life and death. What's the use of seniority? Being in charge of discipline and dealing with rebels, how can you do without strength? Who would dare to accept the position of Discipline Elder? Lu Qi said. Misty Imperial City, Night Moon Villa. Lin Piaomiao found Dachira and told him that she wanted to meet Night Sorrow. Sir Battle Emperor, Please wait for a moment. I need to inform Night Sorrow that all cultivators above rank 9 in our domain have to get his permission before they can enter, Datura said. All right. Lin Piaomiao nodded. She didn't blame Datura because she was Lin Piaomiao. She didn't have enough trust in Datura's heart. Datura went to the 9-domain world and found Night Sorrow's clone. He told Night Sorrow that Lin Piaomiao wanted to meet him. Bring her over. There's no problem. Night Sorrow nodded. Datura was stunned because Night Sorrow's trust was a little blind. She didn't know much about Misty Battle Emperor, but since Night Sorrow said it, she didn't ask for the reason. After returning to the Night Moon Villa, he brought Lin Piaomiao to the 9-domain world. Lin Piaomiao and Datura came out of the teleportation array and Night Sorrow was waiting for them outside. Sister Xian is here. Night Sorrow smiled and greeted. Sister Xian Datura turned around because she didn't see Lin Xian Aluo. Lin Piaomiao took off her veil. Misty Battle Emperor and Sister Xian are the same person? Datura finally understood, but she was still shocked. She didn't expect Misty Battle Emperor to be their friend Lin Xian. My name is Lin Piaomiao, but I used to be nicknamed Lin Xian. Lin Xian smiled and said. That's too shocking. Datura was still shocked. Then let's go to the tea house for tea. Night Sorrow said. He knew that Lin Piaomiao must have brought news. After entering the tea house, Night Sorrow invited Lin Xian to sit down and made tea. The 9-domain world is really full of vitality. Lin Xian said after feeling it. Yes, it's a new world and it's still developing. Night Sorrow said. Your body and soul are condensed, similar to the original body. Lin Xian looked at Night Sorrow and said. It's about the same. If something happens to the original body, this doppelganger can be used as the original body. Unfortunately, it has already merged with the heaven ceiling hall behind us, so it can't move around much and can't move around. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Then Lin Piaomiao told him about what happened in Tianhuang City today, the Grand Elder's decision and the source of the order. Not letting me go back, are they trying to kill me? Looks like I'll have to live in Tianhuang City for a while. Night Sorrow slapped his forehead. Actually, it's not a bad thing for you. Persevering and surviving should be a training experience for you. The City Lord of Tianhuang City's arrangement shouldn't be wrong. After so many years, the members of the law enforcement clan have changed, the human clan's elders have fallen and the new ones have changed, but only the City Lord hasn't changed. No one knows what level he is at, but he's the pillar of the human clan. In the last war, the human clan alliance was at a disadvantage. The strongest Grand Elder and the disciplined clan elder were at a disadvantage when fighting against the demonic Wings Emperor. It was the City Lord of Tianhuang City who stepped in and defeated the demonic Wings Emperor. Lin Piaomiao said. Then how did the human clan alliance get heavily injured by the Black Dragons? Night Sorrow asked. Because after defeating the demonic Wings Emperor, the City Lord of Tianhuang City asked the Grand Elder to clean up the aftermath and go after the demonic Wings Emperor. That's when the Black Dragons attacked. The Black Dragon King's cultivation was high and no one in the alliance could stop him. The disciplined clan elder died in the battle. When the 7th elder appeared, he was only an ordinary clan elder, but he managed to stop the Black Dragon King. After the battle, his strength was recognized and he became the law enforcement clan elder. Lin Piaomiao said. Sister Xian knows so much. Datura said. It's okay. Sister Xian and Song Ning both participated in the battle. Sister Xian led Song Ning, Luo Yuan Dao, Yuan Ji and Elder Lan. Lin Piaomiao's thoughts drifted. Although a long time had passed, some things were still deep in her memory. I see. Night Sorrow nodded. I have a set of information and a map for you. Do you see this line? Don't go there, you'll die without a doubt. You can train outside the red line in the area connected to the Nirvana Ocean and raise your cultivation. However, your current strength is far from enough to return to Tianhuang City. According to normal calculations, you'll need to be at least an Emperor realm and above to be able to withstand the Nirvana Black Wind. Otherwise you'll be annihilated. Lin Xian took out a map and explained to Night Sorrow. Chapter 17:15. This will take a long time. It's not something that can be done in a short period of time. Night Sorrow was a little hesitant. Then work hard. The natural environment there is harsh and there are many natural ferocious beasts. It is not suitable for survival, but the cultivation conditions are not bad. The most important thing is that you survive first. Lin Xin explained to Night Sorrow. This is not difficult. Night Sorrow, take the space acceleration magic treasure and find a suitable place to lie down and improve your cultivation. Datura said. This is a safe way, but I don't recommend it because it will lose the meaning of training. The city lord of Tianhuang City must have made this arrangement for a reason. Be cautious and improve your cultivation during training. This way your cultivation will be the most solid and your combat strength will not be weak. In addition, this may also be a chance for you to break through to the virtuous half-martial emperor. The demon-winged clan is the natural enemy of humans and the 100 races. If you go to the demon-winged clan's territory to train, whether you find useful information or kill them, it will be a merit for humans. It will also improve your qualifications to join the Tianhuang City in the future. Lin Xian'er said. I am not interested in joining the Tianhuang City, but improving my strength is not a conflict. I will stay outside for now. Night Sorrow nodded. He did not have a good impression of the Tianhuang City because he did not approve of people like Bai Chuyuan who could become a sect elder of the human race. He was a little repulsed by the title of sect elder of the human race. You don't want to join? Let's talk about it later. Anyway, the most important thing now is to survive and kill the spies of the demon-winged clan if you encounter them. If you have any problems, feel free to contact me. In fact, this is the same as what I originally expected, but there are some deviations. Lin Xian'er was stunned when she heard that Night Sorrow was not willing to join the Tianhuang City. I don't understand what Sister Xian'er means. Datura said. Looking at Night Sorrow and Datura's puzzled eyes, Lin Xian'er explained. The human race had always been looking for and cultivating talents. Many sect elders had selected good seedlings from the human race and brought them to the Tianhuang City to cultivate. However, the requirements to enter the Tianhuang City were very high. The lowest level was the Lord of Heaven because the Tianhuang City did not have the energy to start from scratch and could only cultivate high-end talents. Heavenly Monarch is the threshold, and this threshold is really high, Datura muttered. Because of the war, there's no point for those with low cultivation to go. They'll just be sending themselves to their deaths. Therefore, when choosing, they avoid wasting energy and resources as well as unnecessary sacrifices. After Yi Shang came to the Ethereal Empire, I had this idea. However, I felt that Yi Shang had a lot of room for improvement. It wasn't too late to think about it later, so I didn't mention it. Who would have thought that this would happen? The Sky Terminus Saint Emperor is shameless. Even his sect is shameless. That Bai Chuyuan is the same. He will be dealt with sooner or later. Lin Piaomiao's face was filled with anger when she mentioned Bai Chuyuan. With this map I'll stay there for a long time. If I can't survive the Nirvana tide, who did I offend? Night Sorrow said helplessly. The doppelganger in the Heaven Sealing Hall received some information about the Tianhuang City. Night Sorrow's original body and battle doppelganger both knew about it and had some understanding of the Tianhuang City. The demon-winged race was the strongest race in the Tianhuang City. They were even stronger than the human race in the celestial realm and the divine beast race. Permanent, free % look small asterisk hashtag say point. The celestial realm was the name of the human race's territory. The Tianhuang City was the territory of the demon-winged race. The Tianhuang City was an undeveloped region. The demon-winged race was strong, but other civilizations were inferior to the human race. Because they fought against the heavens and the earth, their valiant nature prevailed. They were a fighting race. In their eyes, the human race was an alien race. They would definitely kill any human race that they saw. They would often attack the celestial realm. However, with the Nirvana Ocean as a barrier and the existence of the Tianhuang City, the human race's territory was safe. Night Sorrow found a relatively safe place and set up an illusion array. In the middle of the illusion array he set up an Emperor-grade teleportation array. Then he embedded a teleportation crystal on it. It was the same set that he removed in the Evil Punisher land. In the Ice Dragon world, the Emperor-grade teleportation crystal that Night Sorrow obtained was very large. It could be cut into 4 main bodies and some doppelgangers. If it was a rank 8 interrealm teleportation array, he could connect to other teleportation arrays within the teleportation range by exchanging the doppelgangers of the crystals. However, Emperor-level teleportation portals were impossible. Connecting Emperor-level teleportation portals to one another was possible, but the only Emperor-level teleportation portals Night Sorrow had seen so far were the ones connected to Tianhuang City and Tianhuang City. He couldn't connect to others even if he wanted to. Therefore, if Night Sorrow wanted to set up an Emperor-grade teleportation array, he could only use his main body and doppelgangers. He could only set up 4. Currently, 9 regions world had Emperor-grade teleportation arrays, Star Moon City had Emperor-grade teleportation arrays, and Night Moon's Villa also had Emperor-grade teleportation arrays. The only one left was the one that Night Sorrow could move. After setting up the teleportation array and embedding the main body and doppelgangers of the Emperor-grade teleportation crystal, Night Sorrow sighed. Just as he had guessed, the teleportation crystal would be black if the distance was too large. In other words, it couldn't be used. After taking the Emperor-grade teleportation crystal, Night Sorrow embedded another interrealm teleportation crystal. This way, even if he left this place, he could continue to set up interrealm teleportation arrays. If it was an Emperor-grade teleportation array, he wouldn't be able to complete the connection even if he left. In addition, the materials were too precious. There was no need to take unnecessary risks. After setting up a stronghold, Night Sorrow set off. He wanted to find a suitable place to cultivate. His domain of nothingness and will of destruction had to be improved. If he entered the Emperor grade, his domain would be improved. In addition, his main purpose here was to gain experience. If he could kill more demon-winged clansmen, it would be a merit, or he could break through the bottleneck of merit half-emperor. Night Sorrow had a measure of his strength. His strength was unparalleled in the same realm. However, this was only potential. There were too many people in the celestial realm who were stronger than him. In front of monarchs and emperors, this was nothing. However, the body of merit was different. Currently, no one had reached his height. If he could become the merit monarch, he would be peerless and would be a real asset. For Night Sorrow, the power of merit was only useful in battle. This was because the absolute command was only effective at the 8th step. He could deal with opponents of the 8th step with his own strength. The power of merit was useless. However, if he entered the Emperor grade, it would have a substantial effect on Emperor grade cultivators. There were too many ferocious beasts in the infinite wasteland. They could be encountered at any time. Emperor-grade ferocious beasts were not rare at all. This was the buffer zone between humans and demon-winged clansmen. It was a paradise for demonic beasts. However, it was not a threat to Night Sorrow. In the infinite wasteland city, the Grand Elder called for Emperor Tang. Arrange for some diviners to divine Night Sorrow's situation once a month. Also, pay close attention to Bai Chuyuan's whereabouts. The Grand Elder instructed Emperor Tang. Chapter 17:16. It's a waste of energy. This person is narrow-minded. We should just kill him, Emperor Tang said. It's not appropriate. Others may not be narrow-minded, but we must be. Otherwise, we'll end up like him, the Grand Elder said, shaking his head. All right. We'll listen to the Grand Elder's arrangements. Emperor Tang nodded. Also, the City Lord has instructed that we should pay close attention to Night Sorrow's world. Not that realm, but Night Sorrow's world. No matter what the reason is, the people around him, even if they're members of other races, must not be harmed, the Grand Elder added. Emperor Tang was stunned. The City Lord had not appeared for many years, nor had he given any orders. He did not understand why he would pay so much attention to Night Sorrow. The Grand Elder nodded at Emperor Tang, confirming that Emperor Tang did not hear wrong. Emperor Tang arrived at the Hall of Enforcers where Lu Qi and Lin Piamiao were hiding. Emperor Tang, Elder Tang is here. Lu Qi, who was reading a file, nodded at Emperor Tang. I just took over and there are many things to deal with. Elder 7, you'll have to work hard for a while, Emperor Tang greeted. It's all right. It's just that Elder Shao suddenly encountered a problem and many things were caught off guard. This was after I persuaded Commander Lin to stay and help me deal with these matters. After Lu Qi closed the file, he took out a tea set and brewed a pot of tea. By the way, Commander Lin, I heard from Elder Ling Shu that there's a very famous tea house in Ethereal City. There are no seats available and the price is ridiculously high. A pot of tea costs thousands of Saint Spirit stones. Aren't you going to do something about it? Isn't this robbery? This is not a good atmosphere. For us humans to develop, the atmosphere and strength of character are very important. Evil people must be dealt with, Emperor Tang said. What Elder Tang knows is only one side. The price is indeed very expensive, ridiculously expensive. But why are there no seats available? It was because everyone agreed that the price was reasonable and they were willing to go. There were 2 kinds of tea in the Twilight Tea House. One was the heart-cleansing tea and the other was the enlightenment tea. One could cleanse the soul, and the other could concentrate on comprehending the Tao. Although the effect was only average, it was enough. What was the signboard of the Twilight Tea House? There are bright moons everywhere in the celestial realm. Only the Twilight Moon is different. Until now, no one has doubted it. It lives up to its name, Lin Piaomiao said. Is it really that powerful? After hearing Lin Piaomiao's words, Emperor Tang asked in return. It's really amazing. Misty Mist has some heart-cleansing tea here. Why don't the two elders try it? This is Night Sorrow's heart-cleansing tea. It's a gift to Buddha with borrowed flowers. Lin Misty Mist took out a teapot and started brewing tea. Night Sorrow's heart-cleansing tea. Nothing happened, but I'm going to benefit from this kid, Lu Qi said with a smile. The behind-the-scenes boss of the Twilight Tea House is actually Night Sorrow. He has a preference for good tea and good wine. The tea and wine he drinks are not available in the celestial realm, Lin Piaomiao said as she brewed the tea. I don't know how this kid is now. In an unfamiliar environment, he has no companions and has to rely on himself. Swearing. I haven't seen a merit demi-emperor who hasn't been born yet. If anything happens, I'll deal with Bai Chuyuan immediately, Lu Qi said. Nothing will happen. Misty Mist talked to him and gave him some information about Tianhuang. He should have some idea about Tianhuang and the demon-winged clan, Lin Piaomiao said. He's been exiled, but you can still talk to him. What kind of method is that? Emperor Tang looked at Lin Piaomiao in surprise. His original body and an avatar were exiled, but he still has an avatar in his world, Lin Piaomiao explained the situation. What's the concept of his world? Lu Qi asked. There are some things about him that outsiders don't know. I'll tell the two elders. This guy's background is very deep. He's a realm lord and has the world's origin in his body. It's a supreme attribute that's perfectly compatible with his attributes. He's born with the void attribute and it's perfect. He's now a demi-emperor. He also has the destruction attribute. Although he wasn't born with it, it's complete without any impurities. The cultivation of the destruction attribute is the bottleneck of the monarch realm. Wasn't he said to be a space-time one-star emperor? Why does he have two supreme attributes now? Lu Qi stood up. He's sincere, but he's not stupid. He won't expose his background. Not only is he a space-time emperor, but his body is also at the Overlord realm. He doesn't use energy and his physical attacks are at the Overlord realm. One of his clones in the world has fused with a treasure manifested by the world's origin. He can't leave the world. Besides, his original body has the world's origin to protect him. He's truly immortal, Lin Piaomiao said. This guy really knows how to hide. He didn't reveal himself until he was exiled. Lu Qi nodded. He has great potential. With 3 attributes, he already has a very deep foundation. If his comprehension is higher, he'll be a perfect seedling, Emperor Tang said. Comprehension? Emperor Tang, Elder, do you think that he's from a small world? Without any inheritance, he reached the Overlord realm in 200 years. His comprehension isn't bad. Most of his combat techniques were developed by himself. Currently, his strongest technique was developed by himself. He single-handedly defeated Donghao Mountain, a force with 2 monarchs. The 2 monarchs couldn't do anything to him. In the end, they were forced to compromise and give up half of their territory. This shows his combat strength and comprehension. Lin Piaomiao recounted the battle between Night Sorrow and Donghao Mountain. That means he's also a war genius, Emperor Tang exhaled and said. %L forever H free. W look UJ small asterisk P say 5-inch Piaomiao feels that our sect elders should really pay attention to his situation. What we know now is just bits and pieces. He has commanded several realm battles and won all of them. He is a master tactician. Lin Piaomiao said. Lu Qi lowered his head and pondered. After a moment he raised his head. I've informed Gu Qi and Elder Spirit Tree to come over. Both of them admire Night Sorrow, so they're the most suitable to investigate this matter. They're also the most reliable to ensure that nothing harms Night Sorrow. Lin Piaomiao nodded her head. She wouldn't be at ease if it was anyone else but Gu Qi and Elder Ling Shu. This little guy's foundation is still very deep. We must dig it out. After we understand it, we can make appropriate arrangements. Countless years have passed, and our human race has always been at a disadvantage in the battle against the demon-winged clan. Therefore, we must pay attention to the cultivation of young people. The Grand Elder appeared in the conference hall. Lu Qi, Emperor Tang, and Lin Piaomiao stood up and cupped their hands in greeting. Everyone take a seat. Fortunately, Piaomiao, you came in time. Otherwise, there would be too many problems with the handling of this matter. Piaomiao, you're right about one thing. Our human race is really destroying our own foundation. The Grand Elder sat down and said. Chapter 17:17. What? That bastard actually said he doesn't want to join Tianhuang City? Lu Qi slammed the table. Seventh Elder, you don't have to be angry. Now that he has appeared in Misty Dynasty's territory, Misty Dynasty couldn't even let him join Misty Dynasty even if we wanted to. Hence, we could only let him be the unrestricted overlord of Misty Dynasty. To put it bluntly, his ambition is huge and he won't be restrained by others. This is the pride in the depths of his soul. Those who haven't seen him wouldn't understand. His pride is in his bones, in his soul. Let's not talk about this first. Our human race has been developing slowly these years. Most of the commanders are still from the human race. But what about the captains? They are all from the other races of the Alliance. If this continues, there will be a shortage of manpower. There is no problem with Misty being the next commander of Heaven Wasteland Domain. She will remain in the human race. However, will the vanguard position of Heaven Wasteland Domain still belong to the human race? The human race has the largest population and the Alliance has always been led by the human race. However, we have to be fair to the other races in the Alliance. The elders of Tianxiang race, Rock race, Phantom race, and Fox race aren't in Tianhuang City recently. They are all training the next generation. If we want the Alliance to be stable, strength is the most important thing, the Grand Elder said. Lu Qi and Emperor Tang bowed and listened. Lin Piaomiao didn't say anything. The Grand Elder knew the situation in Tianhuang City the best. Grand Elder, if Knight Sorrow really doesn't want to join Tianhuang City and serve the human race because of Bai Chuyuan and Xiao Jun's unfair punishment, what should we do? Emperor Tang asked. Piaomiao can handle it. Is there anything that Piaomiao can't handle? Moreover, he is the virtuous merit half-emperor. He won't be so narrow-minded. Whoever wronged him, he will find that person. He won't act on impulse and ignore the big picture. The Grand Elder looked at Lin Piaomiao. Grand Elder, you have thrown such a big hat at me. Piaomiao has to accept it. Lin Piaomiao sighed and said, and just accept it? The Grand Elder nodded at Lin Piaomiao and left. Knight Sorrow advanced for a while and calculated the distance. He then set up a teleportation array that was connected to his stronghold. He then began to refine an array disk. He wanted to refine a top-grade teleportation array disk so that he could embed some high-grade teleportation crystals. Because he could set up an Emperor-level teleportation array and had reached the level of an Emperor-level artifact master, Knight Sorrow's artifact refining skills had skyrocketed. After failing twice, he finally refined a top-grade teleportation array disk. However, its size was relatively larger. In the past, Knight Sorrow's high-grade array disks were the size of a human head. This time, the top-grade teleportation array disk was about the size of a millstone. Knight Sorrow tested it a few times and felt that it was relatively stable. Treasure, this array disk was definitely a treasure. It was a mobile inter-realm teleportation array. It was not something that could be created by ordinary artificers. With the teleportation array disk, Knight Sorrow thought for a while and upgraded the Deathtrap array disk. Although the array disk's grade was lower, Knight Sorrow used a refining method that was compatible with the array disk and increased the power of the Deathtrap array disk. After arranging the retreat route, Knight Sorrow continued to advance. His target was the Heaven Desolate Mountain. The Heaven Desolate Mountain was a good place to comprehend and cultivate will and domain. However, due to the war and the natural barrier of the Nirvana Ocean, humans could no longer cultivate in the Heaven Desolate Mountain. It was too dangerous because they would be killed if they encountered the demon-winged race. The Heaven Desolate City had also sealed off the route to the Heaven Desolate Mountain. Knight Sorrow was thrown out, which meant that he had a chance to reach the Heaven Desolate Mountain. However, he had to bear the risk of being discovered and killed by the demon-winged race. As he advanced, Knight Sorrow's soul power was pushed to the maximum by the 9-domain origin bead. This way he could detect danger in advance. Even if an Emperor Realm expert from the demon-winged race came, Knight Sorrow could retreat. He could enter the void turbulence or use the teleportation array disk. These were all life-saving methods. When he discovered ordinary beasts, Knight Sorrow would avoid them as much as he could. Knight Sorrow had no interest in hunting King Realm demonic beasts because they were not challenging. Of course, Knight Sorrow would not be courteous if they were carrying precious materials. He would directly kill them. The distance between the Nirvana Ocean and the Heaven Desolate Mountain wasn't close. It was a few tens of millions of miles in a straight line. Every 10 million miles, Knight Sorrow would set up an inter-realm teleportation array and change the teleportation crystal in the teleportation array disk. This was done to avoid having to run back to the starting point and then set off again for another tens of millions of kilometers if an opponent that they couldn't handle appeared. Of course, in the human world, tens of millions of miles was nothing. One could fly across it in 1 or 2 days. However, this was the infinite wasteland, an area not dominated by humans. They could not fly quickly. Night Sorrow felt that there was nothing wrong with being careful. It took Night Sorrow more than half a month to travel tens of millions of miles. Kate forever underscore to read our novels for free. The towering Mount Tianhuang was even more majestic and domineering than Sky Vault Cliff. It was full of flowing energy, and even the striped energy that Night Sorrow had seen in the void space in the Void Mountain appeared. There were not only 2 types of striped energy here but many types. In other words, it was the intersection of many types of energy. It was suitable for cultivators of various attributes to cultivate here. According to the records that Lin Piaomiao gave him, the Heaven Desolate Mountain was the dividing line between humans and demon-winged clan. This was the territory of the human race. Over the mountain was Tianhuang, which was ruled by the demon-winged clan. However, because humans did not come here, the entire Heaven Desolate Mountain was occupied by the demon-winged clan. The Heaven Desolate Mountain was closest to the Sky Vault Cliff. Although the energy was violent, it was very dense. No matter what attribute, one could find a suitable place to cultivate. As the sky approached the Heaven Desolate Mountain, Night Sorrow became even more cautious. Although the Heaven Desolate Mountain spanned tens of millions of miles, the possibility of encountering the Demon Wing clan was very high. It would be troublesome if he encountered an Emperor Realm Demon Wing clan. He had no backing, but the Demon Wing clan was different. They could send a message to their clan for support. Under such circumstances, Night Sorrow felt that finding a place to cultivate was the best way. Night Sorrow planned to break through his void domain first. His chi would enter the Emperor Realm. Then, his fighting strength would increase a lot. This was because the void domain and the spacetime domain had some similarities. In addition, Night Sorrow could advance his domain. His spacetime domain was a second-level domain. If his void domain entered the Emperor Realm, then he could use the void domain as the main force to advance his domain to the void spacetime domain. Its power would increase a lot. After entering the Heaven Desolate Mountain, Night Sorrow continued to fly, looking for a suitable place to cultivate. He continued to search for the existence of the Demon Wing clan. 4 hours later, Night Sorrow found the natural enemy of humans, the Demon Wing clan. They were a race with a single horn on their head and a pair of wings on their back. They were very talented. Their horn contained soul attacks, and the pair of wings on their back increased their speed. Because of their talent, the Demon Wing clan would not be at a disadvantage when fighting against humans of the same level. Chapter 17-18. The Demon Wings race's face was no different from a human's, but their bodies were sturdier and more powerful. They were filled with explosive energy. Night Sorrow was considering if he should kill the 2-star Monarch Realm Demon Wings race or take a detour. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow decided to give it a try. If there was a chance, he would kill. The Demon Wings race and the human race were natural enemies. In the past years, countless humans had died in the hands of the Demon Wings race. They could be said to be cannibals. Brandishing his reincarnation spear, he pierced through the spatial barrier. Night Sorrow entered the spatial turbulence and approached the Demon Wings race. When he was 20 zhang away from the Demon Wings race, Night Sorrow pierced through the spatial barrier and appeared. He didn't launch a sneak attack as he didn't have such thoughts. Although the human race and the Demon Wings race were natural enemies, Night Sorrow wanted to test the combat power of the Demon Wings race. When Night Sorrow appeared, the Demon Wings race stood up. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Human race, if you had the chance to launch a sneak attack, why didn't you do it? The Demon Wings race looked at Night Sorrow and asked. The battle saber that was placed on his knees was now in his hands. We have never met before and have no personal grudges. Why would I launch a sneak attack just because we are natural enemies? I don't think it's necessary, Night Sorrow said. Alright. In that case, I won't inform my race. You and I will fight to determine the winner. Even if you run away, I won't inform my race to pursue you, the Demon Wings race man said as he waved his battle saber. Alright. This is the first time I see a Demon Wings race man. Let's fight. I won't chase you even if you run. Night Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear. Ah, very interesting. Come on. My name is Demon Throat. Demon Throat leaped up and slashed at Night Sorrow with his saber in both hands. Night Sorrow took a step forward with his right foot and thrust out his reincarnation spear. He didn't use any combat skills because Demon Throat didn't use any combat skills either. He relied on his physical strength to kill. Bang! With a muffled sound, Night Sorrow's feet sank into the ground. Everything below his knees could no longer be seen. One had to know that Night Sorrow had originally been standing on extremely hard green rock. It was obvious how strong the impact of this collision was. Devil Throat's body flew backward for over 100 feet before landing on the ground. His feet were deeply embedded in the green rock. Good. You are very strong. You are qualified to leave your name. Fiend Throat looked at Night Sorrow. My name is Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow exerted strength in his legs and leaped into the air. Then he bent and straightened his body like a bow. Brandishing his reincarnation spear, he smashed it toward Demon Throat. It would be impolite not to reciprocate. Yishang also wanted Demon Throat to test his physical strength. Elder Emperor Tang, Night Sorrow and the Demon Wing clan have started fighting. In the Tianhuang city, a diviner anxiously informed Emperor Tang. Emperor Tang was currently discussing matters with Lu Qi and Lin Piaomiao. Upon hearing this news, the three of them directly went to a hall. There was a group of diviners in the hall. At this moment, a diviner was divining the scene of Night Sorrow's battle. His opponent is called Demon Throat. This surname belongs to the royal family of the Demon Wing clan. Elder Zhai Xing, who was in charge of the divination, said, Demon Throat didn't retreat. Instead, his right leg took a step forward in the green rock. As the rock powder flew, he slashed at Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear. Following the sound of an explosion, several cracks appeared in the space. This was the impact of the two's physical strength. Night Sorrow somersaulted and landed on the ground. His feet once again sank into the green rock. A pair of combat boots covered his calves. Due to the impact, the boots had already fallen to the bottom. On the other hand, Demon Throat was nowhere to be seen. He had been blasted into the ground by Night Sorrow's spear. As the ground trembled, Demon Throat rushed out from the ground. Night Sorrow didn't attack first, and neither did Demon Throat. He patted the gravel on his head with his left hand. The elders have always said that humans have weak bodies. So it was a lie. You're strong. Again. With a low roar, Demon Throat charged at Night Sorrow. The two of them began to fight again. Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear was wide open. Every time he attacked, he could repel Demon Throat. The area where the two of them were fighting shook the earth and mountains. Idiot. He clearly has the upper hand. Why didn't he use his ultimate move? This is the royal family of the Demon Wing clan. Emperor Tang roared. He's not an idiot. This is his first time fighting with the Demon Wing clan. Killing the enemy is secondary. He wants to know the background of the Demon Wing clan. Killing a member of the Demon Wing clan doesn't mean much to him. Besides, how did he know that it was the royal family of the Demon Wing clan? Lu Qi said. These are two ferocious beasts. This is a head-on battle without using true energy. Strange. Why didn't they use true energy? Another human clan elder who came to watch asked in confusion. The battle between them should be called a gentleman's battle. Night Sorrow had the opportunity to launch a sneak attack, but he didn't. Instead, he chose to fight head-on. This Demon Wing clan member also promised not to inform his clan regardless of the outcome, Elder Zhai Xing said. First release of original version, isn't this pedantic? If we encounter a member of the Demon Wing clan, we should kill them first. The human clan elder who asked the question said. Everyone be quiet and watch. Lu Qi waved his hand. Comfortable. We, the Demon Wing clan, have always been proud of our strong bodies. But today, in a battle of bodies, I, Demon Throat, have lost. Next, let's show off our abilities and see who's stronger. Demon Throat roared, and then energy burst out from his body. This strength is equivalent to a 2-star emperor. Emperor Tang said. The other human clan elders who were watching did not say anything. They were all watching quietly, watching the battle between the human clan's younger generation and the Demon Wing clan. Night Sorrow's space-time domain burst out, and then charged towards Demon Throat. They were extremely fast. Night Sorrow and Demon Throat were both extremely fast, and the sky was filled with afterimages. Night Sorrow's space-time domain specialized in speed. Demon Throat's space-time domain focused on space and had a wind attribute. There was also a destructive aura in the middle. Coupled with the pair of demon wings on his back, his speed was extremely fast. The two of them fought with speed in mid-air. Then there was a collision of energy. Night Sorrow's space-time energy was not at a disadvantage against Demon Throat. At this moment, a black halo appeared on Demon Throat's horn. One ring after another, it pulsated rhythmically on the horn. Then 2 rings flew towards Night Sorrow. Space crack. Night Sorrow performed space crack. Then his body slid and he appeared behind the space crack's energy. When Demon Throat's soul attack was affected by the space crack, Night Sorrow's body flashed and went around the area of the space crack. Then 2 deep purple crescent blades flew out from his divine sea and slashed towards Demon Throat. At the same time, the aura on the reincarnation spear disappeared. He performed the true dragon destruction art. Strength, speed, and attack strength had been tested. Night Sorrow planned to end the battle now. With Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear as the point, the black halo rippled in all directions and shrouded Demon Throat. Demon Throat's expression changed. He released all the halos on his horn and attacked in all directions. Then he slashed at Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear with his battle blade. Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear was displayed again. His offensive technique changed to Void Return to Origin Kill. At the same time, energy burst out from his body, and a clone appeared behind Night Sorrow's original body. Bang! With a loud explosion, Demon Throat was sent flying by Night Sorrow's Void Return to Origin Kill. Chapter 17-19. And you're running away, right? Then I won't chase after you. Night Sorrow and his avatar merged into one again. Very good. You Night Sorrow will keep your word. I Devil Throat will not go back on my words. I won't inform my clansmen. I'll give you this cultivation treasure land. I'll come back 3 years later and cut you down with my blade. After giving Night Sorrow a glance, Devil Throat's body flashed and disappeared from Night Sorrow's line of sight. I won't kill you this time, but if you come again next time I won't be polite. Yishang muttered to himself as he looked at his surroundings. The spirit chi here was extremely dense. On the opposite mountain, there were constantly flickering energies that contained the will of many attributes. Night Sorrow's body soared into the sky as he continuously threw out the spiritual stones in his hand. The range was 100 miles. An hour later, a large compound illusion array was formed. After the array was set up, Night Sorrow took out the teleportation array disc. Looking at the shining teleportation crystal, he nodded in satisfaction. What's that thing? Elder Ling Shu, who came to watch, asked. At this time, many people had gathered in the divination hall. Qin Shenjie Guqi and Elder Ling Shu were all present. It's a teleportation array disc. It's a top-grade teleportation array disc. It can be refined to the size of a millstone. How crude, Guqi said. Night Sorrow stood in the center of the illusion array. Looking around, he found that his vision was somewhat obstructed. After thinking for a moment, he stretched out his right hand and pointed forward. Clouds disperse. As Night Sorrow's right index finger flashed with golden light, the clouds in the sky dispersed. At the same time, the illusion array's effect was still present. Old bastards of the heavenly desolate city, even if you banish me, I can still snatch your territory and live a carefree life. Night Sorrow cursed and released the Clear Sky Pagoda. After controlling the height of the 2 floors of the Clear Sky Pagoda, Night Sorrow left behind a doppelganger, while his main body flashed and sat cross-legged at the top of the pagoda. After telling Shao Kong to help him accelerate time, he started cultivating. At this time, the clairvoyant had run out of energy and stopped divining. The main reason was that Night Sorrow had called him an old bastard. This caused the clairvoyant's heart to tremble, causing his energy to become unstable and unable to continue divining. Absolute command. Elder Qi, that was the absolute command that only virtuous saints and above can use, right? Qin Shenjie looked at Lu Qi. That's right. I didn't think that I would become an old bastard now. This bastard really doesn't give me any face. However, his combat prowess is all around powerful, Lu Qi said. Everyone had seen the battle just now. Although there was no sound, everyone could clearly tell from the scene and the shape of the lips. The younger generation of the royal family of the Demon Wing clan has fallen into a disadvantageous position in a head-on confrontation with the younger generation of the human clan. This is a matter worthy of celebration. We have no choice but to take the blame for Elder Shao and Bai Chuyuan, Qin Shenjie said. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation, this bastard's survivability isn't a problem. He has an illusionary array and a teleportation array disc in his hand. He's prepared to run if things don't work out. It won't be easy for anyone to kill him, Lu Qi said. It's fine as long as he's safe. Just now, his original body was sitting at the top of the Dharma treasure tower. His body was shrouded in gray energy and his figure was almost invisible. Was that a time acceleration? Emperor Tang described the last scene he saw. It should be. We don't have to worry. He's living very freely. He himself said that he's just as carefree when it comes to snatching territory, Wuxia said. This guy's attainments in array formations are also very deep. He's learning too many things. It's easy to delay his cultivation progress, Wuxia said. His alchemy and refining skills are already at the emperor level. His attainments in array formations aren't low either. How can he stop at this level? A person like him has his own ideas. It's useless to persuade others. Elder Zhai Xing, you should pay more attention to him, Wuxia said. Seeing Night Sorrow's situation, Lin Piaomiao felt relieved. However, she also admired Night Sorrow for scolding a human sect elder. One had to know that in the human race, no one dared to talk about a human sect elder. If there was any disrespect, they would be punished. Night Sorrow sat at the top of the clear sky pagoda. He felt the void energy rolling on the mountain peak and began to comprehend. In the clear heaven pagoda, although he couldn't accelerate time by 50 times with Shao Kong's help, he was able to accelerate time by 30 times. The cost of Saint Spirit Stones was nothing to Yi Shang, so it wasn't a big deal. While the main body cultivated, Night Sorrow's doppelganger pondered for a moment and began to refine array discs. He planned to leave this place for a walk. Therefore he must have some self-protection measures. With successful examples, Night Sorrow could refine a top-grade transmission array disc without any difficulty. In just 2 days, Night Sorrow set up another transmission array beside the clear sky pagoda. After the transmission crystal was embedded and the transmission array disc was tested, Night Sorrow set off. The environment of the Heaven Desolate Mountain was harsh. Those that could survive here were all high-level beasts and heavenly treasures. Although there were Demon Wings clan people, their civilization was low. Even if they had a cultivation civilization, they were different from humans. Therefore, as long as one searched, there would be opportunities. In addition, the beasts here also carried high-level materials. At the same time, Night Sorrow also knew that the Heaven Desolate Mountain was once a battlefield between humans and Demon Wings clan. Many giants fell there. If one could find a fallen giant, it would be an opportunity. As for whether the Demon Wings clan would beat him to it, that was impossible. Even if the human giants fell, they would have a backup plan. It was not something the Demon Wings clan could find. Night Sorrow walked forward. After walking for a while, the combat boots on his feet were the same as the main bodies. Only the boot cover was left on his calf. The main reason was that the blue stone under his feet was very sharp. After taking off the boot cover, Night Sorrow released a burst of true fire and burned it. The main reason was that he did not want to leave any traces. Walking barefoot, Night Sorrow directly killed any beasts he encountered. If there were any rare materials, he would not let them go to waste. All of them were stored in the storage ring. Time passed like this and Night Sorrow became sloppy. His hair tie was broken and his robes were tattered. He had been fighting all this time, so he didn't care about these things. Night Sorrow's aura cycled between restraint and sharpness. When restrained, it was more and more stable. When sharp, it was more and more overflowing with battle intent. Night Sorrow reorganized what he had learned in the past. Because of his tyrannical physical body, Night Sorrow picked up the heaven covering hand and made it a commonly used combat skill again. A tirate demonic beast, even if it was at the Heaven Monarch realm, couldn't withstand a slap from Night Sorrow's energy hand. Even the founder of the Medicine Valley, the Tianding King, could not imagine the power of the heaven covering hand now. After killing an Emperor Tier Raging Flame Tiger, Night Sorrow packed up the materials and roasted the Raging Flame Tiger's hind leg. Taking out a jar of wine, he ate the tiger leg meat and looked at the rising moon. Night Sorrow was a little emotional. He had been out for a year, which meant that he had been exiled for a year. Chapter 1720. The doppelganger had trained for a year, but Night Sorrow's main body had spent 30 years with the help of the Clear Sky Pagoda. In the past 30 years, Night Sorrow's domain of nothingness had improved. His domain of spacetime had also improved. Now it had reached 15%, which meant that he had reached the middle stage of One-Star Emperor. The only regret was that his will of destruction was still stuck at a bottleneck. In the past year, Night Sorrow had collected a lot of materials. There were 6 horns of the Demon Wing race in his storage ring. The Demon Wing race knew that some of their people had died in the Desolate Mountain and had already started investigating. However, Night Sorrow's soul power was very strong. Whenever a high-level Demon Wing race member appeared, he would avoid them in advance. Pretty good. Isn't it just banishment? Emperor Lord, level 4 domain realm. 10 years or 100 years I can endure it. Night Sorrow muttered and continued drinking. Then he leaned against the tree and slept. Night Sorrow rested whenever he needed to. This bastard is eating and sleeping well now. A 2-star Emperor Raging Flame Tiger should taste good after roasting it. Lu Qi looked at Night Sorrow in the divination image and said, Seventh Elder, when he was organizing the materials last time, Zhai Xing saw 6 horns of the demon wing race. 5 of them had 2 round marks. They are 2-star Emperor rank. If he kills like this, he will be targeted by the demon wing race. Then he will be in great danger. Elder Zhai Xing said. He should have thought of this. He has a backup plan. This bastard has many trump cards. Lu Qi said. That's true. I saw him use the teleportation array disc twice to escape. He should have found an opponent that he can't deal with. Zhai Xing nodded. See, I was right. He is not stupid. It won't be that easy to kill this bastard. Lu Qi said with a smile. Seventh Elder, let's not be sarcastic. Look at what you have done to this child. What was he like before? He used to be an elegant young master. Now he is barefoot and his hair is not tied up. He looks like a beggar in a small world. Qin Xianjie said. That's right. He's the domain lord of a domain, a marquis of a region. He probably hasn't experienced such a situation before. Lin Piaomiao's heart ached a little. You women are so troublesome. Only a man with such experience can be considered a real man. After experiencing the baptism of loneliness, blood, and war, what can stop him in the future? Lu Qi said. All right. You really have a heart of stone. When he comes back, he will probably scold you in front of us. Qin Xianjie turned his head and looked to the side. Has he not scolded enough? Grand Elder Qin asked everyone who cared. If he wants to scold me, he can scold me all he wants. I don't care. Misty, how is the development of the forces under him? We tricked them, so how can we take good care of their nest? Lu Qi looked at Lin Piaomiao and asked. Now that he had brought Lin Piaomiao with him, he planned to help her ascend the throne. Therefore he was more casual with the way he addressed her. It is developing very smoothly. However, the people of Sky Peak Sector still on the move. They are constantly investigating the news of the Chaos Domain. They infiltrated 2 groups of people under Night Sorrow's command. However, they were eliminated by his subordinates. The strength of his companions has increased by leaps and bounds. However, they are still very hostile towards Tianhuang City. They told Night Sorrow's wife that they are not done with Tianhuang City. They will settle the score sooner or later. It was Misty and Night Sorrow's wife who comforted them a few times that they finally calmed down. Lin Piaomiao said. A bunch of audacious little fellows. We'll bear with it. If the Celestial Sect dares to mess around again, Misty, give them a ruthless lesson so that they'll remember, Lu Qi said. Grand Elder 7, the people around Night Sorrow are all very strong. Their backgrounds are also strange. Descendants of Green Rock, Nine-Tailed Fox, and one of Night Sorrow's elders. Of course, she is not even 1,000 years old. She is still very young. However, she has the Ice Phoenix bloodline. Lin Piaomiao said. When Lin Piaomiao said that, everyone was shocked. These were all heaven-defying races. Their bloodlines were very terrifying. Seems like the city lord already knew. We cannot let anything happen to these people. Lu Qi said. The people around this bastard are all very strong. What bloodline does he have? What he used last time seemed to be some kind of bloodline ability. However, it is hard to tell from the divination image. Emperor Tang said. Bastard was now the name of Night Sorrow in the human race's Grand Elder's mouth. Space attribute bloodline ability. After awakening his bloodline ability, he directly entered the Emperor realm. However, I'm not sure what it is exactly. Lin Piaomiao said after looking around and seeing that everyone was trustworthy. Does Grand Elder Qi know about this bloodline? Lu Qi looked at Qin Xianjie. I have not heard of it. Perhaps the city lord and the Grand Elder know about it. Qin Xianjie said. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, Night Sorrow had been in Tianhuang for 2 years. Night Sorrow's original body opened his eyes. The scene in his eyes flickered and turned into nothingness. For, after keeping the clear sky pagoda, Night Sorrow entered the teleportation formation and began to teleport. After teleporting a few times, Night Sorrow arrived at his stronghold at the Nirvana seaside. He then sat down cross-legged. He had no choice but to sit down because the divine wind of destruction and soul-extinguishing flame appeared around him. After cultivating for 2 years, Night Sorrow's domain of nothingness had finally reached 10% completion and reached the Emperor realm. Therefore, the divine wind of destruction and soul-extinguishing flame appeared again. After sitting down cross-legged, Night Sorrow endured the trials of wind and fire while comprehending the will of destruction. The tribulation of the Emperor realm was terrifying for others. However, for Night Sorrow, it was worth looking forward to because this was the opportunity for him to comprehend the will of destruction. The divination master in Tianhuang City saw the scene of Night Sorrow's body. Zhai Xing immediately sent people to inform the human race's Grand Elders and the law enforcement Grand Elders. It could be said that the human race's Grand Elders who had nothing to do in Tianhuang City were extremely interested in Night Sorrow's matter. This is a breakthrough, Emperor Tang said. What kind of aptitude is this? He has only been exiled for 2 years. At that time he had just entered the one-star Emperor realm. To have such progress is truly terrifying, Gucci said with some emotion. He didn't advance to 2-star Emperor realm. It's another attribute. Lu Qi narrowed his eyes. He could tell from the purple light that enveloped Night Sorrow's body. It was the light of the domain of nothingness that leaked out when Night Sorrow couldn't perfectly control his aura after advancing. After 2 days, Night Sorrow made a move. He placed his left hand on his dantian and his right hand on his chest. His index finger flickered with golden light as he said, "Divine wind of destruction, strengthen." As the Merit Half-Emperor's words were used, the divine wind of destruction on Night Sorrow's body intensified and began to revolve around Night Sorrow. Chapter 1721. Half a day later, the godly wind of destruction and soul-extinguishing flame dispersed, and Night Sorrow stood up. Night Sorrow shook the tattered battle robe on his body and took a step forward. He stretched his arms behind him and took out a jar of wine. After drinking 2 mouthfuls, he began to practice his spear techniques. With the support of the Nihility domain, Night Sorrow's Nihility returning to Origin Kill and Nihility Extreme Point Kill alternated. Wherever the tip of the spear passed, the space was filled with holes and spider patterns. The Great Emperor Reincarnation Slash was mixed in with the spear technique. Since when did the space of infinite wasteland become so fragile? Elder Ling Shu muttered. It's not that the spatial barrier is weak. It's just that his attacks are strong enough to destroy space. The Grand Elder appeared with the coiling dragon silver spear in hand. Less than W*. The elders who had been watching all cupped their hands in greeting to the Grand Elder. After cultivating for an hour, Night Sorrow's spear technique changed again. It became a spear technique of destruction energy. His spear technique was the true dragon annihilation of destruction. Every thrust of his spear would pierce a small hole in space. This was the power of the spiral-piercing energy. After practicing the extermination true dragon kill for a while, Night Sorrow performed the Great Death Annihilation Slash. Although the Great Death Obliteration Slash was not as powerful as the True Dragon Annihilation Slash or the Great Emperor Samsara Slash, its power had increased greatly with the advancement of Night Sorrow's spacetime attribute. What the hell is this bastard cultivating? Seeing Night Sorrow's attributes for the first time, Lu Qi was a little surprised. This is the death energy he cultivated using the death attribute treasure, the Yellow Spring Stone. He hasn't succeeded yet, but he has a unique skill that can affect souls and space. Lin Xianer said. She had seen Night Sorrow use the Great Death Slash on the Blood Battle platform, so she understood. This bastard's foundation is deep enough. Throwing him into Tianhuang was the right choice. Slowly squeeze him out and his potential will come out, Lu Qi said. 7th Sect Elder, if he hears what you just said he might scold you, Qin Qianjie said. It doesn't matter. He keeps calling me an old bastard. I'm numb to it. Lu Qi said. 7th Elder, you're thinking too much. He should be scolding the 2 people who tricked him, not the elders of our human race. Lin Piaomiao explained for Night Sorrow. Misty, you don't have to explain for him. Regarding the matter of him being banished, it is indeed our Tianhuang City that has wronged him. So what if he scolds us? It really doesn't matter. Lu Qi said with a smile. After cultivating his spear art for a while, Night Sorrow's main body sat on the teleportation array and returned to the stronghold he had snatched from Demon Throat in the Mount Tianhuang to continue cultivating. Currently, there were more and more complicated things he needed to cultivate. He needed to fuse and deepen his understanding of the 2 domains. In addition, he also needed to comprehend the destructive force. At the same time, Night Sorrow's clone in the Heaven Sealing Hall also went into seclusion and began to deduce the fusion of the Nihility domain and the spacetime domain. Yishang was well aware of the fact that he had to turn his achievements into strength. Demon Throat had left behind a 3-year agreement, and there was only 1 year left. Knight Sorrow naturally took this matter to heart. He had killed a few 2-star emperors of the demonic Wing clan, and there was a gap between them and Demon Throat. Therefore he knew that Demon Throat wasn't simple. Last time both sides were probing each other. It was hard for Knight Sorrow to say if Demon Throat had any ultimate moves because the 2-star demonic Wing clan he killed all had their ultimate moves. Fortunately, his body and soul were flawless. Knight Sorrow's clone's training was still ongoing, but there were fewer battles. This was because he spent most of his time studying the fusion of domains. He wanted to cultivate the nihility spacetime domain. Often he would stay for half a month to cultivate. Knight Sorrow's aura went from reserved to sharp, but there was an additional aura of loneliness and vicissitudes. In Tianhuang City, Lin Piaomiao was holding the information scrolls sent from various places, but her eyes were a little erratic. "Piaomiao, what's wrong?" Lu Qi looked at Lin Piaomiao. "I wonder how Knight Sorrow is doing now. No matter how strong he is still young. Training alone in the demonic Wing clan's territory must be very stressful," Lin Piaomiao said. "It's fine. Don't worry too much. To be able to cultivate to the Emperor realm, he must be very determined. He won't be defeated by this. If there's really a problem, I will report it to the Grand Elder," Lu Qi said. Thank you, 7th Elder. I'm just a little worried." "It's nothing," Lin Piaomiao sighed. "Piaomiao, you've been alone for many years. Don't you have a suitable partner?" Lu Qi closed the scrolls in his hands. "No. I've been cultivating in seclusion." "I haven't thought about this," Lin Piaomiao said after being stunned for a moment. "You can consider it. You're still young and have a long road ahead of you. If you have a suitable partner, it will be good for your life and your future," Lu Qi said. "7th Elder, why do you say this? Cultivators don't care about this, right? Most of the people in Tianhuang City don't have a partner." Lin Piaomiao's originally white face blushed. "Not really. They all had partners before, but they were all young. Some of their partners didn't cultivate to the 8th rank, some died in battle. They weren't strong enough and there were many other reasons. So in the end they died alone. Being alone is the price to pay for choosing the wrong partner. You're different. At your level, the Tao companion you choose should be able to go far." Lu Qi exhaled and said. "What about you, 7th Elder?" Lin Piaomiao asked. "I was young back then. I got married when I was a venerable. She was just an ordinary person. I knew it was fated to be a short happiness. But because I loved her, I married her. In reality, happiness and happiness are short, but I don't regret it. Life should be exciting and unyielding. Otherwise I'll become a walking corpse." Lu Qi's eyes were filled with nostalgia. "Piaomiao understands. If it were up to Piaomiao, I would do the same." Lin Piaomiao looked at Lu Qi and said. She didn't know much about Lu Qi, but now she admired him. "After my wife died, it was the beginning of my rise in life. Extreme emotions can only be extreme Tao. If you have emotions in your heart, it's the emotional Tao. If you have no emotions in your heart, it's the heartless Tao," Lu Qi said. "7th Elder, you?" Lin Piaomiao didn't know how to continue. "It used to be the heartless Tao. After my wife died, my heart became heartless, so I cultivated the heartless slaughter Tao. Later on I comprehended it. Because countless years have passed, my wife is still in my heart. She is living in a different way, so I switched to the Tao of emotions. Fortunately, I have achieved some success." Lu Qi smiled. "Thank you, 7th Elder. I understand." Lin Piaomiao nodded. Chapter 1722. Leaving Lin Piaomiao to ponder, Lu Qi left the room. He wanted to give Lin Piaomiao some time to think. Lu Qi was the youngest among the human race's law enforcement elders. He was even younger than the ordinary elders. However, he had experienced a lot, and all of it was the accumulation of life. This could not be described by age. A person who had lived for 100 million years in a muddle-headed manner would not have experienced the wonderful life of a 100-year-old. Lu Qi was the perfect example. Lu Qi saw Lin Piaomiao's worry and nervousness towards Knight Sorrow, so he reminded her. He felt that Lin Piaomiao only had two choices. Either she had feelings or she was heartless. Otherwise, Knight Sorrow would be her weakness. As an emperor, Lin Piaomiao naturally understood some things. Originally, the onlooker saw the game more clearly than the person directly involved. But after Lu Qi said that, she understood the choice she had to make. But this choice was difficult. She really admired Knight Sorrow. As for Knight Sorrow's current situation, she was indeed worried and worried. But whether she really liked him or not, she didn't know. Cut off her feelings? If it was in the past, she could do it. But after seeing Night Sorrow's harmonious family, she also yearned for that kind of life. No one wanted to be alone for the rest of their life. No one wanted to live a muddle-headed life. If you asked if she liked Night Sorrow, Lin Piaomiao wasn't sure. But even if she liked him, there were many problems. Did Night Sorrow like her? Night Sorrow also had a family. She saw how harmonious Night Sorrow's family was. She reached out and patted her forehead. Lin Piaomiao knew that she was facing a difficult situation. But she had to wait and see. She couldn't make a decision for now. What's wrong? You're having a headache. I knew it. Come have a cup of tea and calm down. Lu Qi came back with a smile and made tea. Elder 7 is right. Piaomiao is facing some problems. But I can't make a decision for now. Lin Piaomiao wasn't a bashful person. She would say whatever she wanted. She wouldn't say anything that wasn't true. Sigh. Silly girl, the answer is actually very obvious. If you don't have any ideas with your personality, you will immediately make a decision. Once you have an idea, then don't hesitate. Lu Qi came up with a new conclusion. Seventh Elder, can we not be so wise and far-sighted? It's making Misty Meow feel a little embarrassed. Lin Misty Meow was surprised because what Lu Qi said made sense. But she did feel a little embarrassed. Ah, then let's not talk about it anymore. Now that you've made your decision, your troubles no longer exist. I'm happy for you. A smile appeared on Lu Qi's face. Lin Piaomiao knew that it was difficult for Lu Qi to smile. In front of her, there was no such thing as an iron face. In front of others, Lu Qi was the iron face and emotionless disciplinary elder. I wonder when that bastard Night Sorrow will be able to meet the City Lord's requirements. It won't be easy for him to survive the Nirvana tide. It's too difficult for him to become an imperial emperor in such a short time. Hurry up and come back. Perhaps something good is waiting for you, Lu Qi said as he sipped his tea. This bastard already has several wives. Lin Piaomiao said. At this moment, Night Sorrow had also become a bastard in her eyes because Night Sorrow had already disturbed her state of mind. Several? Then one more won't matter. Lu Qi's words were very direct. Lin Piaomiao didn't say anything. If she continued, who knew what this wise Lu Qi would say that would make her feel embarrassed? Night Sorrow had been nervously cultivating every day. With the help of the clear sky pagoda and the ability to seize the fortune of heaven and earth, he always maintained a clear mind. His comprehension of the power of heaven and earth was very fast. His mastery of the spacetime domain was improving. The nihility domain and destruction domain were also improving. Why was it the destruction domain? Because Night Sorrow had cultivated the destruction battle intent before his destruction will had reached perfection. The moment he comprehended the power of heaven and earth, he formed the destruction domain. Of course, his mastery was still very shallow. While his main body was cultivating, Night Sorrow's two clones were quickly deducing the domain fusion. The nihility spacetime domain gradually took shape, and it only took half a year. Night Sorrow's combat strength was also rapidly increasing. Every time after deducing the domain fusion, Night Sorrow would test the domain's power in actual combat. _Xing, version ZA first released. The difference between the nihility spacetime domain and the spacetime domain was that it changed from a defensive and supportive type to both offensive and defensive type. The spacetime domain's support was speed, movement and attack speed. Its defense was to slow down the opponent's attack speed. Its spatial overlap was to reduce the opponent's attack strength. The nihility spacetime domain had a suppressive effect. After the domain shook, the energy in the area it enveloped would become aggressive. It was a large-scale attack and weakening effect. With the help of the light of virtue, Night Sorrow's domain had already become a level 3 mutated domain. Its suppression of negative attributes was even stronger. It had a powerful weakening effect. Night Sorrow was very satisfied with his comprehension. He even looked forward to whether he could return when Demon Throat came knocking on his door half a year later. Confidence. Night Sorrow never lacked confidence in himself. After 2.5 years, Night Sorrow's strength had undergone an earth-shattering change. It was the same for his image. His battle robe was already damaged in many places and he was barefoot. He looked like a young master who had run away from home. The main reason was that Night Sorrow wasn't prepared in this regard. He didn't care about this in an area where there were few people. Every time she watched Night Sorrow in the divination scene with the other human sect elders, Lin Piaomiao's heart ached. Night Sorrow shouldn't have to endure this. It was all by Chu Yuan's fault. Her killing intent towards Bai Chiyuan grew stronger and stronger. He's already a level 3 domain. His other domain is also in its embryonic form. It looks like he will first attain a level 4 domain before becoming an imperial lord, said Qin Qianjia. For the past 2 years, the human sect elders had been paying attention to Night Sorrow's situation. Every time the divination master performed a divination, most of the human sect elders would come to watch. Therefore, everyone knew about Night Sorrow's situation. Everyone nodded in agreement with Qin Qianjia's opinion. It took a long time for an emperor to become an imperial lord. It required constant comprehension and deduction of the world's momentum. Each step was harder than the last. Currently, Night Sorrow's third attribute domain had already taken shape. Could even be said that he could fuse it now. However, everyone knew that Night Sorrow wouldn't do so. Under normal circumstances, ordinary Emperor Realm cultivators would cultivate one attribute first. When it was difficult to improve, or when their potential was exhausted, they would choose to study other attributes to increase the power of their domain. This kind of research could even be said to not be able to cultivate a domain. After all, talent was limited. The compatibility between attributes and oneself wasn't high. Cultivating to the Emperor Realm to form a domain was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. However, at level 8, with willpower, one could fuse with a domain. However, in terms of power, it would be different from a fully formed domain. There would be flaws and the level wouldn't be the same. In terms of power, it would be different from a perfect fusion. Night Sorrow's fusion of 2 domains was a perfect domain advancement. Although this bastard is a little slow, he's taking the most correct path. Commander Lin, if you have time, please remind him not to take the wrong path. Otherwise, the gains won't make up for the losses, said Emperor Tang. Chapter 1723. In these 2 years, Night Sorrow's 2 doppelgangers had been trying their best to fuse their domains, but his main body's comprehension of domains was also very effective. 1 year after entering Infinite Wasteland Domain, Yi Shang had perfected his domain of nothingness and entered the Emperor Realm. He had comprehended 15% of his domain of time and space. In the following 1.5 years, with the help of the Clear Sky Pagoda, Yi Shang had cultivated for close to 50 years. With the help of the Clear Sky Pagoda, Night Sorrow's mind was always clear. His comprehension of the spacetime domain had reached 18%. At the late stage of the 1-star Emperor Realm, his comprehension of the spacetime domain had also reached 12%. His comprehension of the destruction domain was also not bad, reaching 40%. If he was in Misty Imperial Court or Star Moon Lake, Night Sorrow wouldn't have to work so hard. But now he had to. If he didn't work hard, he wouldn't be able to step on the path home. On this day, Night Sorrow was moving forward. Suddenly, he felt that something was wrong because the environment around him was repeating. He had fallen into an array. This caused Night Sorrow's heart to jump. For him to unknowingly fall into an array, what level was this array? The images that his soul force detected were all fake. They were all the same things that were going back and forth. Even his soul force detection was ineffective. Night Sorrow calmed down. There had to be a reason for this. It was either an opportunity or a crisis. Since the detection was fake, Night Sorrow withdrew his soul force detection to prevent illusions from interfering with his judgment. Night Sorrow sat down cross-legged and began to sense the changes in the energy around him. The key to the operation of an array was the energy circulation path. Night Sorrow wanted to analyze what kind of array it was. Was it the work of the ancient sages of humanity? Was it an array set up by the devil-winged race? Or was it a natural array? However, Night Sorrow knew that he had gotten himself into trouble. Could be a good thing or a bad thing. Lin Piaomiao, who was overseeing Misty Imperial City's City Lord Mansion, pondered for a moment before coming to Night Moon Manor. Dachura was currently staying in the Night Moon Manor because he had businesses to manage. In addition, the God-slaying team was also in the Night Moon Manor. Of course, the one who arrived at the Night Moon Villa was Lin Xian'er and not Lin Piaomiao. Lin Xian'er and Dachura sat in the pavilion drinking tea. Big Sister Xian'er, did something happen to Night Sorrow? Seeing that Lin Xian'er did not speak, Dachura was a little anxious. No, although Night Sorrow's days have been a little tough, everything is fine. I do have some things but I don't know how to say them. Let me calm down for a while and organize my words, Lin Xian'er said. It's fine as long as Night Sorrow is fine. Sister Xian'er, if there's anything you need, feel free to tell me. Dachura filled the teacup in front of Lin Xian'er. It's like this: I've encountered a tribulation. If I don't resolve it, a flaw will appear in my mental state. Lin Xin looked at Datura. Sister Xin, please tell me. I'll see if I can help you, although the possibility is very small. Datura's expression changed. She knew that Lin Xin was the ethereal combat emperor, the top of the celestial demon list. Now that she had encountered a tribulation, it was a big problem. It's a choice between the emotional path and the heartless path. Either resolve the problem or be heartless and cut off all feelings. Lin Xin looked at Datura and said, Sister Xin, are you? Datura looked at Lin Xin with some surprise. She somewhat understood. She was a warlord of the world of reincarnation. Since Lin Xin said this in front of her, she naturally understood. You're right, it's like this. I've lived for half an era. My family is only an ordinary one in the celestial realm. We've always been facing war. I've seen the ancestors of my family often fall in protecting the family. I swear that as long as I'm alive, I'll dominate the world and become a peerless empress. For this dream, my world only has the word, cultivation. As my family members disappeared one after another in the long river of time, I became numb. I've even been in a daze. The world has no color, it's just black and white. I have no friends, only a family member. Song Ning and I gradually drifted apart. I originally thought that this would continue, but it wasn't like that. After giving Datura a definite answer, Lin Xin stood up and muttered to herself. Datura was a little stunned. This news was like a bomb. I'm not sure when it started. Perhaps it started when Qingyan and the other children called me Aunt, or when I often saw the diviners in the heavenly desolate city. If he's not doing well, I'll be heartbroken. If he's in danger, I'll be worried. After saying this, Lin Xin closed her eyes. She wanted to hear what Datura had to say. If Datura didn't like it and the beginning didn't go well, then she would choose another path. She couldn't do something like being jealous. Sister Xin, have a seat. Listen to me first. Datura nodded to Lin Xin. Lin Xin lifted her skirt and sat down. When it comes to love, no one can control it. Night Sorrow currently has 5 wives. I'm the last one. In fact, at the beginning my methods weren't honorable. I even forced him, so I didn't have the right to speak. Night Sorrow, let's not talk about him first. Even if he has strong feelings in his heart, he will restrain himself. He respects the opinions of his family members. And in our Yi family, the one who has the biggest impact on this matter is Chuyu. Although no one said it and she doesn't have a real status, Chuyu is Night Sorrow's first woman. She is recognized as the legal wife by everyone. Yang Lei, Aoi and Xueshi all respect her. Datura said. Not his parents? Lin Xin asked. No. Father and mother don't care about these things. The Yi family's ancestors have always been monogamous. Father dislikes this, but he definitely won't refute mother's words. Mother naturally wants to have a lot of children and grandchildren. Datura said. At this moment, she realized that being a woman of the Yi family was very fortunate. No matter how strong the men of the Yi family were outside at home, the women had the final say. So it's like this. What about you? What do you think? Lin Xin asked. I know. I'm not a petty woman. Datura said with a smile. The first stage went smoothly. It was as depressing as a big battle. Lin Xin said with a sigh. Sister Xin is nervous too? Datura felt strange. She didn't dislike Night Sorrow having another woman because Night Sorrow loved her enough. However, she also felt a little sad. However, she couldn't say this because Lin Xin had helped Night Sorrow a lot. It was a natural feeling, much purer than her feelings in the past. Yes, it's not wrong to pursue your own happiness, but we are friends. This is a betrayal of friends. I don't want to lose you as a friend. Lin Xin said. No, I'll talk to Chuyu, Yang Lei, Aoi and Xueshi later. I won't talk to Night Sorrow for the time being. This matter has been decided by Chuyu and the others. It's almost a done deal. Datura said. Although she felt a little sad, she didn't want to make things difficult for Lin Xin. Lin Xin's words resonated strongly with her. Although she was a peerless empress, her heart was lonely and it wasn't easy. Chapter 1724. From the point of view of protecting your feelings, I won't refute your idea because the answer you got from Night Sorrow was definitely rejection. He cares about his wife's happiness the most and doesn't want to make her unhappy, Datura said. Then why are you telling me? Lin Xian'er asked. Because I love him and hope that everything will go well for him. You can help him even more, Datura said. Is your love very noble? Lin Xian'er looked at Datura and her heart was shaken. She even felt that she was a little shameless. If you really love him you would be the same. Let's change the topic. How is Night Sorrow now? Datura asked about Night Sorrow's situation. Lin Xian'er told Datura about Night Sorrow's current situation. By Qiyuan, that bastard. He tricked Night Sorrow. This matter isn't over yet. Datura's face was full of murderous intent. She was almost done refining Datura Chinensis' source energy and could enter the Emperor realm at any time. Aluo, you don't have to worry about this. The law enforcement elder of the human race looked for me and asked me not to do anything for the time being and wait for Night Sorrow to return. I will take care of him, Lin Xian'er said. But there is one more question. You are the ethereal battle empress Lin Piaomiao. Is it appropriate for me to still call you Sister Xian'er? Datura asked. In front of my friends I am Lin Xian'er. I will have to trouble you to help me with some things. I will go to the 9-domain world to look for Night Sorrow and ask him about his cultivation problems. The law enforcement elder of the Tianhuang city doesn't want him to take the wrong path, Lin Xian'er said. Alright, go ahead. Datura nodded. Lin Xian'er left and Datura slapped her forehead. She knew that she really had to help. First of all, she could empathize with Lin Xian'er's situation. She couldn't make things difficult for Lin Xian'er. Besides having one more person in the family, it wasn't a big deal. If he refused, it would be the same as hurting Lin Xian'er. That would be too heartless. Lin Xian'er arrived at the teleportation array but was unable to teleport because Night Sorrow had restricted the use of the teleportation array. Sensing Lin Xian'er's aura, Night Sorrow's clone in the heaven-sealing Great Hall let her through. Night Sorrow went to the tea house next to the City Lord's mansion to wait. A moment later, Lin Xian'er arrived at the tea house and sat opposite Night Sorrow. Sister Xian'er is here. The tea is ready. Night Sorrow pointed at the teapot in front of him. You seem to be in a pretty good condition. Lin Xian'er looked at Night Sorrow, her heart feeling a little different. Not bad. Night Sorrow nodded with a smile. After that, Lin Xian'er told Night Sorrow a little about the key points of domain fusion. She told Night Sorrow that no matter how difficult it was now, he could not casually carry out domain fusion, because the fusion between Emperor-grade domains was perfect. These bastards, they actually used divination to watch me? Then they should know that I scolded them. I don't care, they have already exiled me, what can they do to me? When I come back, I will go back to Starmoon City to be the City Lord and the Domain Master of the 9-domain world. Sister Xian'er, if you have nothing to do, come over and have tea with me. Night Sorrow said. Then can I live in Sky City in the 9-domain world in the future? Lin Xian'er asked with a smile. You are most welcome. Night Sorrow nodded. That's good. If your family and your wife don't mind, I will go. Alright, I will go back first. Lin Xian'er stood up. You're in such a hurry? Yishan also stood up. What's wrong? Could it be that you can't bear to let Sister Xian'er go? Lin Xian'er turned around and looked at Night Sorrow as she threw out a sentence. Night Sorrow was stunned and his face turned red. Sister Xian'er, help me find some high-level array diagrams. Night Sorrow called out to Lin Xian'er, who was about to enter the teleportation array. Zijing's S edition. Lin Xian'er nodded at Night Sorrow and smiled again. Then she entered the teleportation array and left the 9-domain world. Datura also returned. After greeting Night Sorrow, he returned to Sky City and called Sikong Chuyu and the others for a family meeting. Yi Qingyan and Yin Yanxiao were also present. Datura couldn't persuade them to leave. Alright. You two listen in, but it's best if you don't express any opinions. Chuyu, you two should make the decision on this matter. Datura said. And Aluo, what's the matter? Why are you being so mysterious? Yi Qingyan leaned on the table and asked Datura. That's right. What's the matter? You want the sisters-in-law to sit together and discuss? Could it be that my brother has a mistress outside? You want to sit together and judge? That must be it. Why don't you let me and Qingyan listen? Yin Yanxiao said. Don't talk nonsense. You don't understand your brother's world at all. However, this matter is indeed related to a woman. Datura said. 13 shouldn't? Yang Lei frowned. He doesn't know about this matter. Datura shook his head and then told her about Lin Xian'er. Father is so overbearing now. Isn't Aunt Xian'er the #1 on the Celestial Realm's Celestial Demon list? Is it because my father hangs out with her every day? Father hasn't returned to Sky City for nearly 3 years. Yi Qingyan muttered after a moment of surprise. Nonsense. You don't know what your father has been enduring for the past 3 years. Dachira glared at Yi Qingyan. She wouldn't allow Yi Qingyan to not understand Night Sorrow's situation. Big sister Luo, did something happen to Night Sorrow? Sikong Chiyu stood up. She knew that Dachira wouldn't say this for no reason. Night Sorrow didn't want you to worry, so he didn't want me to say anything. It seems that I can't hide it anymore. Let's talk about it. He was exiled by the human race's sect elder and is no longer in the celestial realm. Dachira sighed and then told them everything that had happened in the past 2.5 years. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have doubted my father. Yi Qingyan's eyes reddened. Big sister Xian'er is our friend. There's nothing between her and Night Sorrow. She also helped Night Sorrow without holding back. Dachira said. Is she sincere enough? Yang Lei asked. Yes. She's the peerless empress of the celestial realm. She wouldn't be able to tell me this without great courage. In addition, Night Sorrow and our Xingyue Lake family have taken great care of him. Sikong Chiyu said. Chiyu, you don't have any objections? Yang Lei looked at Sikong Chiyu and asked. If a bad woman wants to marry into our family, I definitely won't agree. However, Lin Xian'er obviously isn't one. She can live alone for countless years. Her moral integrity is definitely not a problem. 6th senior sister, 9th senior sister, Sister Shueshi, what do you think? Sikong Chiyu looked at the others and asked. I don't care. I'm going to see 13 now. He suffered again. Yang Lei's eyes were filled with tears. Don't go yet. Night Sorrow just doesn't want everyone to worry. Dachira pulled Yang Lei, who had stood up, to sit down beside him. I don't object. In fact, the main difficulty lies with 13. He values our family very much and cares about our feelings. Therefore, it's very likely that he will refuse. Alway thought for a moment and said. Chapter 1725. That's right. That's too cruel. What do you think, Shueshi? Sikong Chiyu looked at Shueshi. I have no objections. As long as it doesn't affect the harmony of the family, everything is fine, Shueshi said. It seems that you've reached a consensus, Sikong Chiyu said. Auntie, are you ignoring my father's opinion? Yi Qingyan looked at Sikong Chiyu and asked. Are you stupid? Your father is very close to her. We don't know if he likes her or not, but he wouldn't hate her, right? So that's how it is. Sister Luo, do as you see fit. Sikong Chiyu made the decision. Father has taken all the good women in the world, Yi Qingyan said, pursing her lips. If you say any more nonsense, I'll slap you, Always said, waving her hand. However, Yi Qingyan just stuck out her tongue. After sending Lin Xian'er off, Yi Shang's clone in the heaven-sealing Great Hall went back to cultivate. He had been cultivating intensely recently. It was only when Lin Xian'er had come that the teleportation crystal had reacted that he had come out of the heaven-sealing Great Hall. Sikong Chiyu and the others didn't see Night Sorrow when they arrived at 9 Regions City. Dachira had taken the teleportation array to the celestial realm. Sikong Chiyu and the others could only wait for Night Sorrow to come out of seclusion before discussing the matter. After returning to the Night Moon Villa, Dachira saw Lin Xian'er. Lin Xian'er was sitting in the waterside pavilion of the Night Moon Villa, but she was a little distracted. Sister Xian'er, you're really distracted, Dachira said. A little. It's mainly because I've never experienced something in the past, so I'm a little confused, Lin Xian'er said. I went back and told them. They were very generous and didn't reject you. They were willing to accept you. However, we didn't see Night Sorrow when we arrived at 9 Regions City, Dachira said. Aluo, it's been hard on you. I'm the one who wants to steal your man, yet I still need your help. Lin Xian'er sighed. Originally in this world, it was men who chased after women relentlessly. However, things have changed when it comes to us. Our conditions and looks aren't bad, right? But you insisted on delivering yourself to him. I did it and so did you. It's all Ye's fault, Dachira said with a smile. You say that, but your face is full of happiness. Is little Luo still cultivating with his master? Lin Xian'er asked. Dachira nodded. Yes, the children at home are all running around. But as long as they don't leave the Chaos Realm, there should be no problem with their safety. I'm very envious of you. When I saw your harmonious family during Night Sorrow's coronation ceremony, I was very envious, There is almost no such complete and harmonious family in the celestial realm. Lin Xianer was very happy because it was relatively smooth. To her, this matter was like fighting a war or even more difficult than fighting a war. I fought for it. At that time I felt that it was time for marriage, so I tricked Night Sorrow. Datura smiled and told her about his relationship with Night Sorrow. Without courage, how can you get happiness? Lin Xianer looked at Datura and said. She felt that Datura's situation was similar to hers. Actually, Night Sorrow is also a sentimental person, but he will hide it. If he likes me in his heart, he will not say it. Would you believe me if I said that he had no feelings for me at that time? Datura said with a smile. He definitely has feelings for you. Lin Xianer nodded. Yes, but he is very strict with himself. He wants to be a good husband and doesn't want to disappoint his family. Datura said his evaluation of Night Sorrow. I understand. Don't worry about Night Sorrow's situation. If there is any danger, I will go and find him. Lin Xianer nodded at Datura. He will be your man in the future. You decide for yourself. Datura directly left the matter of Night Sorrow to Lin Xianer. Lin Xianer left and returned to the city lord's mansion. After thinking for a while, she felt that she should marry Cang Ning off first. The Lin Xianer who had put on the veil was Lin Piaomiao. She sent someone to summon Wu Feng and Cang Ning to the city lord's residence. The meeting place was Cang Ning's courtyard in the city lord's mansion. Greetings to the War Emperor. Wu Feng and Cang Ning cupped their hands and bowed. I'm meeting you here to discuss private matters. Wu Feng, isn't it inappropriate for you to be like this? As a man, if you don't speak, you'll make Cang Ning wait? Lin Xianer went straight to the point. Wu Feng and Cang Ning were stunned by Lin Xianer's words. Miss? Cang Ning wanted to explain on behalf of Wu Feng but was interrupted by Lin Xianer. Don't say anything. Let him speak today. My lord, it's like this. Wu Feng is suffering from the cold poison and is not suitable for marriage. As soon as the problem is solved, I will propose marriage. Wu Feng said. Cold poison. That's not a problem. When Night Sorrow enters the Merit Emperor realm, he can help you deal with the cold poison at any time. Within 3 days, I will wait for your proposal at the city lord's mansion. There's no rush to get married. Let's settle it first. Cang Ning, be more reserved. Lin Xianer made a series of decisions. The main reason was that her mood was unstable today. Because she was no longer reserved, she vented her anger on Wu Feng and Cang Ning. Wu Feng understands. I'll take my leave. Wu Feng bowed and left the courtyard. Cang Ning, stop right there. What's wrong? It's as if our Lin family's women can't get married. Lin Xianer shouted at Cang Ning, who was about to leave. Cang Ning stood there obediently. But after glancing at Lin Xianer, he turned his head away. We're the only 2 women in the Lin family. You're not even married yet. What are you saying? If you want to speak, speak louder. I'll marry you off first, then talk about me. I'll work hard to marry myself off. Lin Xianer said. Miss, what did you just say? Cang Ning didn't hear it clearly. You want to marry yourself off? You still need to work hard? Cang Ning rubbed his ears hard. Seeing you annoys me. Hurry up and leave. Lin Xianer chased him away. After leaving the courtyard, Cang Ning looked at the lintel of the courtyard and realized that this was his courtyard. But he was the one being chased out. He rubbed his ears again to make sure he didn't hear wrong. But he didn't understand what was going on. After pondering for a moment, Cang Ning left. I'm going to get married anyway. It doesn't matter if I'm reserved or not. It's all the same. Night Sorrow was still training every day to increase his battle strength. He had researched and evolved the heaven-covering hand into 2 forms. One was the heaven-covering hand of nothingness. Under the attack of a huge energy palm, anything that couldn't withstand the attack would be annihilated. It was extremely domineering. The other form was the heaven-covering hand of glass. It used the light of virtue to activate the strength of the body. When the palm struck out, the energy palm was like glass, filled with a mighty aura. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.